My presentation today, my talk today is going to be focusing on one very important aspect of digital learning, and that is examination and evaluation. How is it that in this period of great crisis, or even otherwise, whenever this crisis will be over, and I hope it is very soon, how is it that we can continue taking some digital means and evaluating and examining our students? So the topic, I repeat again, is examination and evaluation using examiner.in. Examiner.in is a digital platform which is used for examination and evaluation. It is being developed, as you see, by ISET Bhopal, and only recently I've been conducting some online examinations in my School of Engineering in JNU, and we have used this portal to give exams to students, and we've been quite successful, and there have not been any problems per se. So I thought that this would be a good topic and to talk about in this presentation. So a brief outline of my presentation is as follows. So I'll talk a little bit about digital platforms, a very layman perspective of what digital platforms is, examination and evaluation in those digital platforms. I think probably I'll discuss a few available options, open source. I'll give a brief introduction of examiner.in, and then we are going to go straight away to examiner.in web portal and see how the quizzes have been created and how you can actually use it to evaluate students and conduct examinations. Yeah, so basically, if we look at what a digital platform is, then if you look at it from a layman's perspective, a platform is basically a facilitator of services. On one side, you have creators like designers and programmers that conceptualize the idea to create, keeping in mind what are the needs and aspirations of the end users, which could be for us, it could be shoppers, because we are faculty members and we're looking for evaluation and examination options, and we are also end users, keeping in mind that perspective. If these platforms are on electronic devices such as laptop, desktops, tablets, we call them as digital platforms. Some of the examples that you are kind of aware of are as follows. Myntra is a digital platform for shopping. Almost everybody uses it. IRCTC is a digital platform for travel-related reservations, and I'm sure everyone has used it. Grofers is something that has come up new, and it's a platform for daily grocery needs. Similarly, for examination and evaluation, examiner.in is one such platform that can be used to effectively judge, assess our students. So let's talk a little bit about the examination and evaluation. Examination and evaluation, the concept has kind of evolved over a period of time. There was a time when we used to talk about taking examinations as midterms and end semester examinations. We used to have in school half-yearly examinations, first term, second term, and that was all that there was. But over a period of time, we have observed a paradigm shift towards what we call as continuous assessment. And that continuous assessment happens in forms of periodic tests, quizzes, assignments, projects, and presentations. Now, when we have a class of say about 70 to 80 people, which is normally the average size of classrooms in most of the courses that we are teaching in engineering and even other areas of studies, contemporary studies, we realize that assessing all these, assessing students on all these things continuously over a period of 6 months or over a year could be a daunting task if we take these assessment forms on paper and we kind of check them and revert back to students. And therefore, to ensure that all these things happen seamlessly and without much of an effort, there was a search for viable options that came about, and we looked for online platforms that could make evaluation and assessment, which has now become a continuous evaluation and assessment, possible. So, so that's probably the reason why we've kind of started looking for ways on internet to look for assessing students. That is actually a part of a job. So A brief introduction to Examinium. That is what I'm going to give. It's basically a project which has been created by ISET Bhopal under CREATES. CREATES is the Center for Research in Advanced Technology for Education and Sciences, and it was started in 2015. And it's a project which is funded by Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India, under Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya, National Mission for Teachers and Teaching. The vision is, of course, to be able to create a large repository of e-content for various subjects, various streams of engineering, various streams of science and allied areas. And obviously, of course, to provide a contemporary assessment platform for faculty to assess and evaluate students for the courses they're teaching. Examiner comes with great many features, and some of them are discussed over here, and they'll become very evident when we are going to go and look into detail about how the portal actually works. So there are a variety of questions, types of questions that you can ask. You can start from MCQs to fill in the blanks to match the followings. You can also look into questions which are based on some figure or diagram. You can also introduce some videos that the students can watch and then answer questions. So all that is possible with Examinium. Then another very very nice feature of Examinium is randomization. Now, what exactly do we mean by randomization? Now, there are three possible ways to look at it. One way is that, if you suppose giving about 20-25 questions to your students in a quiz or a test, then when the quiz goes to every student, the order of the questions is shuffled. So that's one level of randomization. The second level of randomization is that the options that we give to students, as maybe 4 options or 5 options to choose from, those options can also get randomized and goes to every student, so that it's not a same trend that goes to students when they look at the question. So that's another level of randomization. But probably the most important type of randomization that sets Examiner.in apart is something which is very useful for maths oriented courses, and that's why it's very relevant to engineering, is that you can ensure by a certain basic level of programming that every student, when receives a question, receives a different question of the same form. I'll give you a small example. Suppose you want to ensure that a student is integrating some function over a limit. For example, if suppose there is a function like ax plus b, which you're integrating from limit c to d, where c is the lower limit and d is the upper limit, then you can ensure that you provide some ranges to a, b, c, and d. And when you give the question to students, every student is going to get a different numeral as a, as b, as c, and d. What it will do is that students will not be able to share notes with one another on online platform, where there is always a chance that students will be using unfair means, and they will get a different question for which they will have a different answer. So it's more like a programming interface which allows every student to get a different question, keeping in mind that the basic platform of the question remains the same. So that's 3 level of randomization, and it's very very interesting to use, interesting to see. And I've tested it in my school, I've tested it in my subject, and the results have been very good, and I'll very shortly show you what it is all about. Another feature of Examiner is that there is a thorough analysis of result. You get the statistics of the entire class, you get the statistics of every individual student. All is there, and it's available in very user-friendly formats on screens, as I will show you. There is also an option of different kind of quizzes and different kind of tests that you can take. A sectioned quiz and a live quiz. A sectioned quiz is a quiz that is a general quiz or a general test that you give to students, and you give them a certain time and they have to finish it at that time. A live quiz is a quiz in which the instructor is there with the participants, and they are kind of raising hands and asking questions, and the speaker, or probably the faculty who's teaching is putting up videos or putting up text-based questions, and so it's like an interactive quiz that can actually happen. So both of them are possible in Examiner, and it's a very good portal to do that. And then lastly, there is a full control of test from its creation till the result compilation. Once you create a test, you are in control of the test. You can deactivate the test. You can actually go inside the test when the students are giving the test. You can see what they are doing. you can actually figure out whether a person is using unfair means or not, which by ways I can, I'll show you. And you can also, by when the test ends and the results are being made, everything is auto graded. You can compile the results in Excel, you can compile the result in PDF, and it's available for you to use and to share with your students. So this probably ends the slide section of my my presentation, and we will probably within 5 minutes go to Examiner portal. If there are any questions so far, I'd like to take them. So, madam, if there are any questions, I'll take before I go to Examiner portal, so that people can actually see what it is all about. Are there any questions?
Hello.
Hello.
Not yet, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Is there any question for me before I go to the portal and actually show people what am I talking about?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. So I think I'll just share screen and show people what Examiner is all about.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So basically this is the portal for Examiner. I hope people can see. Madam, can you confirm if you can see what I'm showing? Can anybody tell me?
It is showing.
Yeah, it is showing. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So I'm sorry. So this is the portal for Examiner, and so you can see over here on the top right hand side, there is a student section and there is an author section. Now, author section is the section which is dedicated to the faculty. For example, in this case, it's me.
Sorry
and
to interrupt, sir. Sorry to interrupt.
Yes,
Just share your slide.
ma'am,
It is not visible. Only first slide is visible.
No, I'm not showing any slides. I'm showing the web page for Examiner, madam.
No, sir. Only first slide is showing here.
Okay. What can you see? Can you tell me what is it that you're seeing?
First slide, sir.
अरुण सर, आई थिंक आपको पहले जो आपने स्लाइड शेयर करी है ना, उसको अनशेयर कर दीजिए.
अच्छा, ओके सर, ओके.
Then your web will come, sir.
Okay, sir, okay.
Because only one thing can be shared at a time.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, now you can share your web, sir.
Yeah. Now is it available? Now can you see?
Not yet, sir. Now it has come. Now it has come.
Yeah. Okay. So now you can. I hope you can see Examiner now.
If you can make it a little zoom, sir. Full size करके थोड़ा zoom.
Full size ही है.
Now it is pretty clear, sir.
Okay. Right. So basically this is the web portal of Examiner, and you can see over here you have two headings over here. One is of student and one is of author. Author is of course the faculty who has the access to the account, and the students are going to be your students who are going to take the quiz. So if you just kind of log to students, so basically you can see that once you create a quiz or a test, there will be a specific quiz ID that the student has to enter. You have to give students some login ID, a username, which generally is the email ID of the student. And of course, there is a password. So student does not necessarily need an access to the Examiner portal. It's more like a faculty would require an access to kind of create quizzes and send tests. But students will be given these credentials, quiz ID, username, and password to enter Examiner and give the test. So let's go into my login and password over here. It's already entered, so I'll just enter. Okay. So this is basically the page that opens up for Examiner. Now you can see that there are certain things. I'll go one by one and very quickly I'll explain everything. So so you can see the arrow which is on content under development. So this content under development is the area where you're going to be creating questions. So once you create a question and you know that it's correct, and I'll tell you how you see how it is correct or not. So once it's correct, you commit that question and it becomes a committed content. So you can clearly see that I have about 117 questions here, which are committed. Once you commit the contents, you create playlists. Now playlists are just like we create playlists out of songs, on CDs or in our cars. So you have some number of songs that you want to, listen to again and again. Similarly, a playlist over here consists of questions that you want to add to your final test. So committed content goes to these playlists, and using those playlists, you create quizzes that you send to your students. So basically this is the dashboard. I once again, I will repeat. So once you're creating a question, the question gets created under content under development. Once the question is being created and it's developed and you're sure that it's error free, and you commit it, it goes to the committed content. And from committed content, you put those questions in playlists, and you create those playlists with a collection of questions, which then get added to the quiz, and you get a final quiz that gets created. Now let me show you. How is it possible. So suppose you've created a quiz. You're going to get something like this. You're going to get something like this. You're going to get a message which says that, dear Varun Saxena, you have created a quiz. There is a quiz ID given to you. The quiz title is given to you. The dates from where it is valid to what time it is valid, and quiz duration is given to you. Now this time is given to you according to the GMT time, and you need to add 5 hours 30 minutes to it to get the Indian Standard Time. But when the quiz actually goes to the students and they are able to see it, this time is actually given in IST. So even though it seems that it is GMT over here, the quiz automatically adds 5 hours 30 minutes to it, the portal, and it displays it to the student. So this is basically the confirmation that is given to the faculty who's creating the quiz that your quiz has been successfully created. Now I have created a sample quiz for you people to see, and let me just show you what it looks like for a student. So for a student, this is how it is going to look like. So once a student gets a quiz, so it is that, okay, so the quiz will go to a student, and the student would know that, the quiz title is Engineering Foundation Numerical Methods. It's valid from this time to this time. And over here, it shows UTC, but when the student logs in, the student is able to see the time in IST. Now here are the quiz credentials. You see the quiz ID, which is there. You see the user ID. So I'm going to use these user IDs, and I'll use this password to log into the quiz. Okay. So this is basically how the quiz is being created, and information is being disseminated to both the faculty who's created the quiz and the students who are using it. Now coming back over here, let me show you some other features before I'll show you how the quiz is actually attempted. So let me just go here and let me show you some features. So here are the various quizzes that I kind of created and students have given. So let me just take up one quiz and I'll show you what exactly it is about. This is one of the quizzes that I took. So you go to this edit option, and yeah, so it says that, what is the status and when it opens, when it is created, what is the deadline, and when it is valid for. So over here, you can see that, the time is Indian Standard Time. So it is 10 a.m. in the morning, and it was valid till, 1:40. So now, if you go to manage quiz, you can see all the takers over here, so these samples, sample 1, sample 2, and sample 3 are just some additional, usernames and passwords that the examiner gives. For example, suppose if you have a class of 40 and you just send the quiz to 38 and the 2 people have not received any credentials, you can just give this username and this password, which, if you click, you can see, you can just give it to the student and the student can start the quiz. So over here, you can see that there are student names, there are their email IDs, and there is a password with which the student entered. This is the entire log of the student, at what time he started the quiz. He started the quiz at 10 a.m. 38 seconds, and he started the quiz, he finished the quiz at 12:30. The time that the person took to do the quiz, and the score. So it is auto graded, and the student of mine has performed really well. He's got 98, 91. He's got the highest marks. So this is basically how you can actually see the time of submission and the time of start of the quiz. If you go over here, you can actually track the activity of the student. You can actually see at what time the student logged in, when he entered section 1, when did he again logged in, because sometimes you log out because there is internet connectivity issues. So you can see what time he is exiting, what time he is entering the other section, what time he is exiting, and you can, if you tap this, you can actually see the entire detail of what platform he's using to do the exam. So he's using Windows 10, Microsoft Windows. He's using browser Chrome, and this is his IP address. And this is a very important, feature that examiner has, because you can actually use this to judge whether the student is using unfair means or not, whether the student is changing devices, whether the student is, logging off or logging in a lot of times. Then that there is something fishy. So all this can happen. If I click this, you can see it's the same browser, and if I click another one, you can see that it's the same browser. So you can actually assess from this that the student is continuously sitting on one system and performing the test. So this is some way one of the ways of proctoring that examiner provides. Now let's look at how the scores are being created. So if you look at how the student has performed, so you can see that this is the quiz ID, and this is the name of the email ID of the student. The student has scored 91 marks at the time that the student has taken. This is the overview. There were 2 sections. He has attempted both the sections. Total contents were 100 questions. He's attempted 99 questions. He skipped 1. There are 8 incorrect answers. You can actually go to every section, and you can actually see how much individually he's got. You can actually even see responses. If you click this, it will open up and it will show you what are the responses that the student actually entered for different questions. So this is, so not only can you take tests in it, it creates you, a repository of information that you can, even take printouts and keep, just like you keep answer sheets of students for some years, for, maybe till the time they are in the course. So, you can see what are options is marked, and these options don't change. And this is also a way in which, you can actually verify if the student creates some issue and comes to you and says, oh, no, I marked something else, but, I got marks on something else. So you can go back and you can check what exactly the student marked. And you can see that, it does not change. I mean, this is just fixed. I can move around, but finally it's H4 only that gets marked. So these are some very useful features of, during the quiz and after the quiz or after the exam, you can kind of, get some information about the student. So this is about how you can, see at the time of the quiz, how the quiz is being performed. And over here, you see something like not logging 91, logged in 0. So this is basically when the quiz is actually going to happen, these numbers are going to change. So there was a time when not login was 0 and logged in were 88, because these 3 will not add, because they are like just dummy. If I need to give it to somebody, I'll give it. Otherwise, the number of people in the quiz are 88. So this would have been 88. This would have been 3. I can even block a student depending on whether I find that he is using unfair means or not. So you can actually proctor the exam even when there is no video and there is no audio feed to the students. So coming over here, I'll show you. So this is something, so you can actually deactivate the quiz at any time. You can download their performance summary. You can download whatever, username and passwords you've given. So all that is there, and you can even download the quiz. So, so there is like a lot of control in your hands, right from the time you create a quiz till the time actually the quiz gets ended. So this is a portal, and this is how the quiz is there. And this is a live quiz, the quiz for which I had showed you the information. So if the time permits, I will take this quiz up and you can actually see how it actually works. So this is basically the information I wanted to give you. Now coming to dashboard again, I want to show you some questions, how they actually look like, and some of the features which are really very nice in Examiner. So, let me just show you a couple of questions. So these are all questions that I have. Yeah, so this is an integration problem. Let me just open it and let me show you how it actually is. Yeah, okay. So when you're going to be creating a question, this is what is going to come to you. So there is this metadata and there are comments, and there is this, so you can actually, fill in some comments that will help you understand and, identify where the question is. So these are comments. You need to give some tags. So there are 3 tags which are minimum that you need to give. And once you give these tags, you can proceed. Now here is the question. So, this is a mathematical question for integration. And since we are all faculty members and we are all from engineering background, most of us, and even for people who are not from engineering background, I think it's pretty evident that the setup that is over here, the manner in which the questions are written is LaTeX. So one thing that people with a math background should know is that they should be compatible. They should have a decent level of understanding of LaTeX, because mathematics in this portal is often written in LaTeX. The non-mathematical part is of course plain English, which you can write, and I'll show you that there could be very easy questions that can be created, but math and math related things are written with LaTeX. So this is something which I've written in LaTeX. This is a question which actually is evaluating an integral. So let me just go and verify this question so that you can actually see what it is all about. So you can see that the question is that we are evaluating an integral which is ax squared plus bx plus c. The lower limit is e and the upper limit is f, and we're integrating it with respect to x. Now a, b, c, d are arbitrary values, and over here I've programmed this examiner to take up options. The correct answer is given over here, and I think there is something wrong here, because there should have been a 2 here, but you get an idea that you can actually put up the correct answer over here. Let me correct it. So in options, so you have something over here, and let me just divide it by 2. Okay, great. So now, here there are options. So what you'll do is the tick tells you that you have to enter the right option here, and the crosses are the ones that you can just add, because you need to give multiple questions, multiple options to answer to every question. So this is what you do. So once this is there, you verify it again, and you can see that there is a change in the answer, and you get 1 by 2. So now this is correct. Now these parameters A, B, C, E, and F are the parameters that get randomized. As I said that you can give different questions to different people. So what you go is you go here to the parameter field, and you see A over here. One of the parameter was A. So I give it range. I give it 1 to 5 in interval of 1. It means that A can take value from 1 to 5, any value in steps of 1. Similarly, I've given some range to B. I've given some range to C. I've given some range to E, and I've given some range to F. Now, you can see that there are a lot of possibilities that can be created, and all these possibilities can be checked by this icon over here, which is give 5. So once I press this, it will randomly choose values for A, B, C, E, and F, and give me 5 possible options that will go to the student. So let me just click it and you'll see. So in the first case, A, B, C, E, and F take these values, and this question goes to first student. And for the first student, the correct answer is this. Now let's go further. For another student, this is the question that goes to the student, and the correct answer is this. For the third student, this is the question that goes to him or her, and this is the correct answer. And you can see that these are 5 possibilities which are there. So it gives us a great forum where we give the question which is essentially of the same form, but the student has to evaluate different quantities and get different answers. And this is a very, very important step to ensure that we minimize use of unfair means. Students are smart these days. They will always find ways to cheat. The best that we can do using online evaluation and online examination portals is to ensure that we minimize use of unfair means. So let me just give another 5 to this. And now you see completely different set of values emerge. So this is basically what the portal is all about when it comes to randomization of questions, and it is possible for questions which are math based. You can even randomize figures, you can randomize tables, you can randomize pretty much anything in Examiner, and it is very useful from that perspective. Let's go and look at some other options and some other questions. So there could be some fill in the blanks, there could be some text based questions. Let me just you can even get some chemistry kind of questions also. So let me just show you what this question is all about. So this is a very simple question of chemistry, where basically I'm writing a chemistry equation. I'm asking them what are the coefficients. So you can see. So the question is like, for a chemical reaction, which is this, the stoichiometric coefficients A, B, C, R, and over here I have options, and people can actually choose the right one. So this is a question which is not entirely mathematical, but people can actually do this these kind of questions also. Let me show you some other kind of questions. So just a second. Yeah, so you can have a fill in the blank question also. So if you look at this question, so it's a simple question of probability. It's like, if a coin is tossed m times and it gives tail n times, then the probability of head is what? So this is the way in which you write it. And if you actually access it, you will learn from its documentation how to write these things, but this is how it looks like. So if a coin is tossed m times and it gives tail n times, the probability of head is, so this is a fill in the blank. But you can see that m and n are not given any values, and these are the values that I've randomized. And you can see from here, I have given parameters. M takes a value in this range, n takes a value in this range, and the answer is somewhere, I've given it a range for the probability of head. So let me just give it this 5, and you can see that the question takes different forms. So if the coin is tossed 1148 times and it gives tails 249 times, the probability of head. So any value in this range is going to be given as the correct answer for the student. So take different values and you get different answers. So you can see that you can have fill in the blanks, you can have simple fill in the blanks, which can be randomized. You can have very, very simple English based fill in the blanks as well. So this is another kind of a question that can be asked. Let me show you a question which is text based, where you kind of give them a text and you ask them a question. So let me just show you something if I can find out where it is. Okay, so there is this chain rule. So this question is nice because if you see, so this is basically the syntax. So over here you can see that there is a file that I've included, and I'll show you what it is. So it is that this file, student has to look into this file, and based on the information given in the video, the student has to do something. So let's look at what it is actually about. So you can see that over here I have embedded a video, and the video is about chain rule introduction. This is actually a video that I have picked up from YouTube, and if time permits, I'll show you how it is done. But just to tell you what are the various features. So the student is going to play this video. So the student is actually going to see this video and know what chain rule is, and after that the student is going to perform this this question. So you can clearly see that Examiner allows you to add content to your question, and that content could be a video, the content could be a picture, the content could be a diagram, it could be anything. And again, this is randomized. So if I give 5 for the same question, you get different values and you have different answers for the chain rule. So there is randomization here. You can add some things to the quiz, and this is basically what you can do. Now let me show you what are the different kinds of questions you can create. So if you go add questions, you can see you can create a multiple choice question. You can have an arrangement type. You can have a fill in the blanks type, you can have an information type. So these are basically ways in which you can actually, create a question. The last question was information type, in which I created a video. I added a video, and based on that video, students had to, do the problem. So these are some features of Examiner, and so basically now I think probably looking at the various features of it, let me show you how the quiz is going to look like when a student will actually be taking it. So let me just use probably log out from my author account and go to student account, and enter some of the credentials in the quiz, which is AAS7. So I think I've already put up the, yeah, okay. So so this is basically this is how the student is going to look at it. So this is the quiz that the student is seeing. Gives the name of the person who's created it, the email ID. Name of the person who's created it, and this is the email ID of the person who's been using it. These are some instructions that you can give. It gives you an idea of when the quiz is going to start and when the quiz is going to end. You can always exit it, and these are sections which tell you that what is the grading scheme for the section. And once you've read all the instructions, you can proceed. And this is the portal. Now this is how the student looks at it. There's a timer that goes that tells you the time. Here are all the questions that you will have to do. So you look at the question, you press one of these, and you move ahead. You look at the second question, and whenever you do a question, the question turns green, the one that you have attempted. So you press this, and you move ahead, and this gets this green again. So this way you do this, and you proceed, and it tells you how many questions you have attempted and how many which question you are on. You can just kind of move without doing much solving, and then once you go, you can actually go to the final question. Let me just go to the final question, and you press this, and now there is no tab over here because this is the last question of the section. So once you've kind of entered that, so once you've done that, you're just going to go to the exit section, and you're going to come out of the section. So now you can go to the second section, and you can just see how the section marks are like, and you can proceed, and you can attempt whichever question you want to attempt, whichever way you want to attempt. And once you've done that, you just come out. And now, considering that you've done both the sections, there is a submit button. You press the submit button, and it gives you a summary of what you've done. So I have attempted 5 questions. I've skipped 45. I have, number of ungraded questions are 0. And once that is there, it asks you whether you want to submit the quiz or not. So once you submit it, it again asks you, are you sure? And you submit it, and the quiz gets submitted, and you exit from the portal. So this is kind of a user-friendly, examination and evaluation portal. I'm going to be telling you a little bit about it before I conclude my talk. This portal is free of cost. This portal is being provided to faculty members only. And if you think that this portal is something that you want to use in the time of Corona crisis or even otherwise, you can, ask the Examiner people for access. The only way in which you're going to get this is that if you ask them to provide you access using your official email IDs, and that official email ID has to be verified. It could either be on your college website or school website, or it could be through your college iCard, because they are very sure about one thing, is that they don't want this to get into the hands of students. So if they are able to ascertain that you are a legitimate faculty, they will have no problems providing you this. And you can see that it is very easy to use. If I would have had more time, I would have showed you how you can actually create questions, but that is, maybe a discussion for some other day, and I'll require probably more time or probably a hands-on session to do it. But you can see that the entire process is very simple and it is very seamless. There is no internet disruption. You can even use it with 2G. And one of the very important features of this, this portal is that you really don't require a video feed or an audio feed to keep a tab on the student. So in various places all over this country, there are different levels of, broadband connectivity. There are different speeds. Sometimes the issue is that, students cannot access some heavy softwares. It will be very difficult for them to open it, and it will take a lot of time. But in my experience, I have taken almost 5 or 6 papers out of 10 papers in my School of Engineering using Examiner from 3rd June onwards, and never once I've had a problem. We have been able to offline, we have been able to be online and still remain offline from the point of view of not using the video or audio, and we've been able to proctor our students. So over and all, I think this is a very good software. I'm going to be providing an examiner flyer to Mr. Vikas Singhal, and if anybody is interested in getting access to this this portal, they can actually request him, and he is going to send them the flyer, which has the detail of where you really need to contact people. In fact, in my presentation there is a link. I'm going to even share my slides with the organization and the organizers of this faculty development program. And if you're interested, you can actually go and request them using your registered mail IDs, and get an access to the portal. With that, I am at the end of my my talk, and I'll now be taking questions if there are any from the participants. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And definitely after this pandemic situation, online teaching will give alternatives somehow to traditional teaching and exams. During this session, some of the participants has raised the questions, so
Yes.
which I would like to share with you, and I
Yes.
hope your answer will satisfy them. Though,
Right.
so our first question is, can we shuffle the questions as we can in Google Form?
Yes, you can shuffle the questions as you can in Google Forms. So the shuffling is automatic. You really don't need to, so in Google Forms, you actually have to go to the settings and you have to click that option which says shuffle question order. But over here, the questions get shuffled automatically. So yes, that's a possibility.
Okay, sir. The second question is, can we evaluate subjective questions online?
Yes. So there are a couple of things I wanted to mention which I think are not included in my presentation. Number one is that this examiner portal is not just available in English. This examiner portal is available in almost every language for which there is a keyboard available online. So you can actually type Persian questions, Arabic. You can go for Russian, Korean, anything. Like in JNU we have School of Languages, and over there this software is going to be particularly useful, and people are very excited about it. And the second point was what exactly was it, madam? I kind of forgot. Can you mention it again? What was it?
The question was, can we evaluate subjective questions?
Yes.
Online?
So so from Monday, the coming Monday, the subjective questions are also going to be introduced along with the MCQs and fill in the blanks and all other different types. So over there, you write a question and the students can give an answer. In the first stage of the examiner software, you have to auto grade the question. It's not going to get auto graded. It's going to be manually graded, just like in Google Forms. There will be an Excel sheet where you can see the question, you grade it, and you award marks. But in the subsequent stages, which will probably take about 2 months or 3 months, the developers have told me that what you can do is that you can put in the right answer, and they will actually use the the methods of NLP, the natural language processing and machine learning, with which the questions will get auto graded based on whatever the keywords you have entered into the correct answer. So this is going to become a very good platform for subjective questions right now for manual grading and later on even for auto grading. So you can even auto grade subjective questions using this maybe in another 3 or 4 months time.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
madam. Yes.
The next question is it possible to evaluate the students of social sciences through examiner.in?
Yes, very much. So basically right now you can actually give, of course you can formulate MCQs and you can give fill in the blanks, and you can probably, text based or, image based questions you can already give. But from coming Monday, you can even, give them long answer questions or subjective questions, and they will be able to answer and you can check them. So yes, you can actually use it for any, any subject from any discipline. Primarily it was created for science-based subjects and streams, but over a period of time, seeing that we need to really create something which is general rather than specific. The developers have been very sensitive to the needs and aspirations from all different realms of teachers and their requirements. So yes, you can actually use it for social science and basically non-science subjects as well.
Okay, thank you, sir. I hope it satisfies participants' query. And because of the time limitations, I request rest of the participants to inbox their query to experts email, which we will share today. And
So yes, ma'am. So I'm going to. So basically, let me just give them this information. They can actually just straight away give me the questions if they have any. So I hope you can see. Can you see the slides now again?
yes, sir.
Yeah. So you can see that down below is my mail ID. So if people want it, they can actually uh, just a minute. Yeah. So here is my mail ID. They can note it down, and they can direct the questions and queries to me, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. It's varunsaxena@mail.jnu.ac.in. And let me also share with them some of the mail IDs that they really need to know to be able to request and access. So over here, you can see that there is a mail ID which is support@examiner.in. And this is, let me just correct it also. It's W, sorry. Yeah, so it is, I'm sorry. So this ID over here, this one, this you just write a request on this. Write a request on this to be able to get an access to Examiner. And you can also go to these websites of Create and Examiner to actually see what they are all about. But if you want an access to it, please please fill this form on support. Just write a mail to it. They will send you a form. Fill it up. Please give your official mail ID, which can be verified at your college end, maybe on the website where your photo is there and your information is there, or you can give them your a scan of your what do you call it, and the ID card. And from where you came to know about Examiner, you can talk about the FDP, and you can refer my name there because they know me. So you can say that we were there and we heard a talk by Varun Saxena, and that's why we are interested in taking this, taking some access to this portal. But please remember, mentioning my name is not going to give you an access to it. It will just be a good reference. You really need to do it using your official mail ID. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I hope
Okay.
this session was very much useful, informative and interactive, which take a direction in conducting the online exams. Thank you, sir, that you have provided us so much information in short span of time. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Varun. I am really thankful for your kind, you can say, presentation and the time that you have spared for us today.
Most welcome, sir.
If any question needs to come up directly from the participant, they can write it in the chat box if they want to speak to the speaker for 1 minute or 2 minutes. Then we can wind up this session.
Yes.
Anyone if is interested to talk to Dr. Varun Saxena directly can give a message in the chat box, please.
Or they can come online if they want to ask a question. Maybe you can unmute them and they can ask a question directly.
That's what you know. If they are interested, they can write it in the chat box so that we can unmute them.
Okay, great.
Is there anyone who's writing, Gunjan ma'am?
Yeah, so I saw a question which says, is it free of cost? Yes, the access is free of cost to faculty members.
It's open source platform. Yeah, it's open source platform. Dr. Varun, can we have the practical sessions also into this examiner?
No, we can have it, but it will require a considerable period of time, maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours. So if that's possible, maybe you can kind of arrange it during the later days of this FDP. I'll be most happy to do it.
Yeah, if we can get that type of response from the participants, if they need to have a really brush up into this examiner, then we can have a totally good session on it. You can say complete entire platform. You can join us if you are free in some of the time.
Yeah. So my exams are winding up on 15th of June, and I'm the exam coordinator there. So the papers are going to be over, and with examiner there, I really don't need to evaluate anything. Everything gets auto graded. In fact, what I was showing you was the exam that I had taken for my students.
Really great. So when JNU's university is accepting this examiner, that I believe that it's totally a secure platform, and not many options must be there because it has been MHRD initiative and everybody is accepting it at a high level. So this platform, as you have explained, is really a nice platform, and maybe many of us will switch on to this platform instead of using other platforms that are not that much secured and not you can say open source platform are not there in the case except Google, I feel. Although easyclass.com also I have observed over there also, because we were pretty into it from our JSS Academy of Technical Education Noida. But I have seen some very good options in Examiner, apart from you can say quizzes, test assignments that we already done on Examiner also. But I could see some better options into this Examiner. Maybe we can float, we can have a look into it.
Sure. I just want to clarify on one point. So JNU is an autonomous university, and we have different schools, and every school is free to choose a way in which they will assess the students. So Examiner was something that I have introduced to School of Engineering, and I wrote a mail to my Honorable Vice Chancellor, and he responded with very positive comments on it. And I've been directed to interact with some of the professors who are involved in choosing the right online platform for every school in JNU. So it's not yet being adopted in the entire JNU, but I think probably there is an option of adopting it in the entire JNU. But of course, every school and every faculty in JNU is free to use whichever platform that they want to use to assess and evaluate students. And I think probably that is a feature that only can come in digital domain, where faculties have the freedom to choose which way they are going to be assessing and evaluating the students. They are the best judge. But as far as JNU is concerned, right now this is a platform that the School of Engineering has adopted, but the Vice Chancellor has taken a note of it, and he has directed through my team me to interact with the right people in JNU to probably see if this is feasible for every school. And I have no doubts that it is not. It is very feasible for every discipline and any discipline available in JNU or even outside or in any college. So with that, I think if there are no questions, I think probably we'll end.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Thank you.
Most welcome. Good day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Most welcome.
So, ma'am, we can switch on to our next speaker. I think he is already there. I have made him a quote, Satya Sundara Mahapatra.
Satya Sundara Mahapatra, sir. Yes.
Yeah, you can invite him.
Okay, sir. Now we should move to our second speaker, Dr. Satya Sundara Mahapatra. I welcome you, sir. He is from Pranveer Singh Institute of Technical Education, Kanpur. So he is Associate Professor, Computer Science and Engineering Department, Pranveer Singh Institute of Technology, Kanpur. He has done BSc Mathematics Honors from Raigada College, Raigada, affiliated to Behrampur University in 1994. He has done MCA from Indian Institute of Science and Information Technology. Application affiliated to Utkal University, Odisha, 1997, and MTech from Department of Computer Science, Utkal University in 2007. He has done PhD in Computer Science from Utkal University, Odisha in 2016. He is member of Odisha Information Technology Society, Odisha, and Global Initiative of Academic Networks. He has published various research papers and patents in different fields. Over to you, sir. Satya Sundara Mahapatra, sir. Over to you, sir.
Maybe he's trying to log in, and just give us 2 minutes of time.
Okay, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Ma'am, is it audible?
Yes,
Yeah, it is
sir.
audible. But we cannot see you, sir. We want to see. We want to. Please, can you come live, sir?
Yeah,
Your
my
video
video
is
is
off.
not coming.
Now your video I cannot see.
1 minute. I am on my video.
Gunjan ma'am, is it or you can view him?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Maybe
I can
same
view
problem.
him. Sir, you can share your slides.
You can
Okay.
start, sir. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Is it visible, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. First, I want to thanks to Vikas sir and his total team for conducting such a very excellent type of FDP, international FDP, and in this Corona pandemic. Thank you very much, sir. So I want to present a basic knowledge on Matlab for the research people, as well as the students. They also want to do work with the help of Matlab. So Matlab basically it is a one type of tools, and somehow we are saying that it is a Matlab is a programming type of concept of programming language. Down. So I have to go discuss. 1 minute, sir. So if you think that what is a Matlab, so it is particularly consist of two words, mat and lab. So it is consist of matrix laboratory, right? So matrix laboratory means the total research work is based on the matrix. If we are not saying wrong thing, that means whenever we have to do any type of research work or any type of problem solving, we are basically based on the data work. So whenever we have to execute the work on the data, we require some matrix formation. So data are available in a row measurer or column measurer or row measurer, and both row and column order. It is maybe a 2D matrix, it is maybe a 3D matrix. So data are actually available in a matrix form with some distribution type of functions we are available. So whenever we read a data from the surrounding or from the any type of system, it consists of a matrix form. So we have to work on that matrix. So basically, one of the engineers in the previous era, they are working, they are using the Fortran language. But whenever they try to write down the code with the help of Fortran, so at that time, very high time for execution, write down in code, and these other things take a lot of time for processing it, this type of thing. So we want to reduce it. So Matlab is a very simple programming language with its own extensive library of mathematical and graphical subroutine. Two things are required. One, we have to execute the job, and then we want to present the job. So two things for a researcher or for any type of project work, whatever we have to do in case of engineering or MCA, we require to do a very high extensive data set for the processing. So how we have to do it? So first thing is we have to create it. We want to test it. We want to execute it. Then we want to process it, and finally we want to present it. So for presentation, we require basically two types of concept. One is tabular type of concept, or we have a graphical type of concept. So graphics, no doubt, is a very interesting type of thing, a type of presentation, right? So it integrates computation and graphics in one easy of interface. Matlab stands for Matrix Laboratory. Matlab is very extensible. There are many add-on or toolbars are specific requirements. Matlab is an interactive system whose basic data is matrix that does not require dimensioning. Now, if I say that create a 100 cross 100 matrix within a 1 second, can anybody execute the data with the help of a C language, Fortran language, or Pascal language, any type of language, whatever Java language? So we have to write down a very extensive type of code for that purpose, very lengthy code for that purpose, then to process it, right? If Matlab can process, not using it. Matlab is an interpreted language. It is not compiled language. They are of identical code, execute more slowly, some much more slowly Matlab in. Now, you just see, I have written down a code in Fortran, which take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for addition of 2 matrix. Whereas in Matlab, we have only write down a single line code, C is equal to A plus B. So the system identified whether you have to input a matrix, or whether you have to input a value, or whether you have to input a matrix of 2 cross 2 or a matrix of a 3D matrix, that is totally work on the system. You have to write down only one line code, C is equal to A plus B. It is very easy type of programming language for doing the project work and as well as the research work. The main feature of the Matlab is simply programming rules, extended accuracy, continuity among integers, real and complex values. Comprehensive mathematical library, extensive graphics tools are available, linkage with other language, transferability across the environment. I just try to create an interest towards the Matlab so that the new researchers, they are basically facing a lot of problem for doing work in the programming language. Now, high-level language, that is the numerical computation and visualization and adaptable application development. In these three areas also we are facing a lot of problems. So we want to execute this thing within a very easier way, that is known as the Matlab. In case of with the help of Matlab, we can do a huge numerical computation with a very less time. Visualization is excellent. Other application development, we can easily develop number of applications with this help of this. Interactive environment for iterative type of exploration, design, and problem solving. Mathematical functions for linear algebra, statistics, Fourier analysis, filtering, optimization, numerical integrations, differentiations, and solving ordinary differentiation equation. We have to execute it very plain and very easier way. Built-in graphics of visualization data tools, creating a custom plot as per your requirement. You can develop the plotting, and the graphs are very good. The looks is very good. Development tools for improving code quality and maintainability and maximizing performance. Tools for building applications with custom graphical interface. You can using the customized graphical interface for that purpose. Functions are integrating with Matlab-based algorithm, with external application language such as C, Java, .NET, and Microsoft Excel. All the functions are readily available. Your work is you have to identify the functions, and for that functions, what are the parameters you have to pass, and how you have to execute it. Now you see, I have just shown you a very the graph of a visualization of the data, how you have to represent it, some code you have to write down, then whenever you have to plot the graph, how it looks like. It's just very beautiful type of graph come out. So whenever we have to try to present our research work, so whenever we try to present this type of graph, at that time the external as well as the present the person who judge you, they think that yes, really a person have to do some work on this environment. So numerical evaluation, whatever you have to do available in this method. So that is interpolation and regression you can easily do, differentiation, integration you can do, linear system equations you can do, Fourier analysis you can easily do, Asian values, singular values, everything you can easily do, most of the space metrics. The thing is, we must understand how a matrix is created. Every data is consist of a matrix. If we take a very simple example in a class, there is 60 number of students seated in a class, they are seated in their benches. If you see from the outer side, it was visible that there is a simple matrix form is available. Every student sit on a row and column. We have just calculated. The most important work is we have to identify how we have to take a data from that one location which you want to specify. Suppose I want to extract the data from second row, fourth column. Who is sitting on that data area that I want to do it? So we want to only write down the logic, that the methodology, how you have to execute this type of thing. Generally, we have to identify for a problem, then we have to find out the solutions, then we have to execute it. Execute means we have to find out the solution. It is just like a mass game. Every game have a type of plan and policy. So the policies you have to design, and as for the policies, you write down the code. And whenever you write down the code, your first work is you have to access the data. So accessing data, we want to very less time is required, and then we want to execute it also in a very less time. Now see, refinement of graded data using 2D cubic interpolation. So how you have to represent the data so that everybody think that yes, you have done some work, how you have to extract the data from the thing, how you have to physically present, design the graph in such a way so that the expert are feel that an excellent type of work you have done. Now, data analysis, you have to analyze the data in the figure. You just see, analyzing and visualizing data with the help of explore, visualize, and model with the data type of the Matlab. So visualization of data, where the data is available on the screen, different types of graph models are available. You can utilize it. You just see the graphs, how it's the looks is very good. So whenever you have to print on your papers or presentation or any type of conference paper you have to present it. So today's world, they want to know that whether you have to execute in Matlab or not. So basically you start to execute with the help of Matlab, try to practice on it, and it is very easy to learn. The functions, ready-made tools are available in the net. You can easily practice it. So how you have to access the data? Generally, basically, whatever you have to do that, we have to access the data from the database, external device, Excel sheet, just such type of thing. If I want to go for image, sound, video files, scientific files, so these data also you can access very easily. So we are generally using import function, load function, right? Image purpose, we are using image, how to download the image. So we have to also acquire the data from the hardware devices also. Directly also you can using the acquired data. These functions are available. So the oscilloscope functions, sender, single analyzer, such type of thing. Now, how you have to import the data? It is very easy on the screen. I just show you that there is a session is available. You can go and access the data through the import function. Import is one of the basic methodologies for that. Excel data you can access, database any database you can access the data. But if you see, data are available, all are in a matrix form. Row, column, measure, row, column, data are available. Here data, whatever you have to find out that it may be a numerical data, it consists of numerical character data, such type of a combination of number of data. Your work is you have to extract the data whatever you want. If you want column number 2, then you have to extract only column number 2. If you want the row, then you have to extract those row whose value is less than 0 or greater than 5. In this manner, you can write down the code and you can access the data. Matlab manages, filter, and pre-process your data. You can perform exploratory data analysis to uncover trend, test assumptions, and build descriptive model. You just see curve and surface fitting, image analysis, system identification, everything you can done with the help of the Matlab. We can't say that we can do this one thing with the help of Matlab. Nowadays, with the help of Matlab, everything is true. But if Matlab, every organization, they have their own Matlab, they have purchased the Matlab, they want to practice. So with the help of Matlab, we have solved our large problem in a very systematic, very less time. Now you just see, photo gallery, you just see. Editing a title, surface, contour a plot graph. So this graph name is contour a graph. So how it looks. So we have plot the 2D graph, we have plot the 3D graph, right? How we have to do it later on we have to see. But for at the beginning, I want to just create one type of interest. If I have to do research work, if I want to present some type of data, then how it looks like. The Matlab language provides native support for the vectors and matrix option. Here we are not bothered about what type of data. We are all data for me as a matrix form. With the Matlab language, you can write, program, and develop algorithm faster than the traditional languages. Right? So we can, the thing, whatever you have to develop with the help of the for loop, it takes a lot of time. We can, using the function in Matlab, we can do it very easily. Suppose I want to read an array or create an array, one by one row, you have to create it with the help of the for loop. But with the help of Matlab, we have to write down only one line statement and we can develop it. Matlab provides features of the traditional programming language, include flow control, error handling, object-oriented programming, everything they have to clear it. You can produce immediate result by executing command at a one time. The most important thing of the Matlab is you can execute one by one line code. Suppose in the C program, you have to write down 10-line code, then you write down all C, alt, R in this manner. In Java also, you have to do the same way. But here, every line you write down and every line you have to execute. So whenever you have to execute one line, you have to sure that up to this level, my code is okay or my program is okay. That means the way I expect my output, if the outputs are come on your screen, then we have a very good confidence level within ourselves. So this helps us for executing it. Now, one type of code you have to just writing, that is a classification type of algorithm. We have to using it in noise classification. So we have a noise classification concept. We are using the formula. So two groups are formed and then we have to plot on the screen. So how you want to plot with the help of the cross symbol, dot symbol, square symbol, circle symbol, that we have to see later on. But here we are using the dot symbol and I have to try to present it. So it's a communication of the algorithm that generate 1024 random bits, convert the vector to a transmitted signal, add complex Gaussian noise, and plot the result in 9 lines of the Matlab code. It is a only 9-line Matlab code. You just see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, same thing if you want to write down with the help of C language, I don't think that I can complete it with the help of 9 lines. Let's go to the 100 number of lines. The most important thing of the Matlab is you can nowadays you are using the parallel computing with the help of Matlab, where the things everything parallelly parallelly execution, everything the code they have to return inside the processor. Your processor must have a multi-core processor. If there is a multi-core processor, automatically the system will finalize which data will enter inside the which machine or which processor they want to execute. In our time, whatever we have to do it, we have to combine number of machines and we have to first create an environment, then we have to run the Matlab and the parallel execution also. The parallel computing type of execution also we have to decide how we have to send the data. The concept of the parallel computing is very simple. If you have a 10,000 data and I have a 4 machines and I want to execute the logic of the simple logic, any one logic, let us take bubble sort, any sorting algorithm. So I have to divide my data into 4 parts. Then I have to send each data to each machine. That means 1 to 1,000 data to machine 1, 2,000 to 3,000 data in machine 2, 3,000 to 4,000 data in machine 3. First phase is transmission of the data over. Second phase is transmission of code over. That means the program which we want to execute in that machine. Then we have to start to execute that the code on that machine on that subdivided data. Then after the result over, then one by one data we have to do it. So different types of parallelisms are available. That is temporal parallelism, data parallelism. So the way you have to execute accordingly, you have to do the work. So there is a techniques also available. If you want, you can learn about that parallel computing. Then you can implement it. Now start to execute in the Matlab. After you load the Matlab on your system, so whatever you have to do, we have to first click on this type of symbol on the desktop is available. You just click on the system. So after clicking, you have got this type of screen is available in front of you. So one is command window. Here we have to write down the code one by one line, then you have to execute it. Then the current folder where from where you have to access the data, that folder is available. What are the command history is available here, and what are the workspace. That means it show you the memory, whatever you have to use it. The default window is looks like in this manner. We have to using this as well. So this command window means main window in Matlab. Commands are entered here. If you write down a is equal to 5, so command window you have to write down. Then press enter. So you have to find out a variable store the value of 5. Now Matlab display prompt in this manner, that is a greater than symbol into 2 greater than symbol, that is known as the prompt. And after you have to wait, come at the up to that time on your screen, this part you just see there is a ready symbol is available or ready character word is available. That will show you that BG. If the system is executing some code, the ready near about the start button, just below left hand side, you have to see that there is a ready word is available. It was BG always. So newer version also the ready or BG in your graphics user interface. Essential in the same in Unix command. Remember, Unix Matlab is little bit different and Windows Matlab is different. If we generally students or some people they have a Matlab code, they start to execute, they start to load Windows version and Unix. That is not possible. Now this is the current folder window. Display the content of the current working directory, from where you have to extract the data or path setting, everything you have to do it. Then you go to the workspace window, where the workspace window show all current definition of the variable, array dimensions, minimum or maximum value, what is the capacity, everything you have to show it here. It's a good debug tool. Then the command history, what are the commands still we are executing one by one. Whether it is a consist of a program or it is one by one code, whatever you have to execute. Then these are the desktop menu. If you want to create a new file, then you can create a new file. You want to open an old file, then you can go to the open file. Just like simple editor, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, just the same type of thing is available. You can execute it. If you want to import data, you can import the data. Just you see the import data. So once you click on the import data, it asks you from where you have to extract the data. So you go to that location and you have to extract the data. So edit menu, desktop menu, change the appearance, select the window. As for the student, they want to change that is why there is a white screen, that might be a black screen or blue screen. There's everything you can do it with the help of Matlab. Now, how you have to interactive command you just see. You have to write down that in a command prompt, you have to find out 2 greater than symbol. Then you have to write down x is equal to 4. So X automatically created. We have not mentioned that X is an integer variable or a character variable or it's a float variable. We don't require anything. It's very easy. Your work is you write down, system will identify whether it is a 4, whether it is a character, whether it is a float. Matlab does not require declaration of the variable. Now, but it is case sensitive. Here just see, there is an example B is equal to 3. So B mentions C is equal to 2. So C mentions, so B minus C is equal to C. But in place of B, if you write down capital B, it never asks you. And remember, if I put semicolon after every statement, then results are not given to you. For that reason, you again write down B on the command, then it shows you the result. So semicolon means results are not given immediately. If I write down B minus C, see the answer is equal to 1. But if I write down B minus C semicolon, it's answer available. After that, whatever you have to write down, you have to write down A and S, then space, then enter. So you got the result. By default, the system will provide you the 4 decimal space. And if you want to see the more, then you have to, according to the, you have to change the format. Here, we have to just see there is a format is available that is long format I will use. So it automatically go to the 15 decimal places. Right? Now, just like other language, how the arithmetic operations you have to do in Matlab, also you have to do in this form. Exponential a to the power b, a cross symbol, get up symbol b, multiplication a b, a star b, division symbol slash, a slash b, addition symbol plus, subtraction symbol minus. These are all are just like other language. And remember, Matlab will ignore white space between the variable and the operators. So what are the things is available that it explains? Sorry, parentheses, exponential, multiplication and division have equal precedence. Addition and subtraction have equal precedence. Evaluation occur from left to right. When you have a doubt, use parentheses. Suppose आपको doubt लग रहा है, you have facing any doubt. So whatever you have to do, you have to write down parentheses. Suppose I am write down A plus B, parenthesis over. Then minus C, parenthesis over. So once you have to give the parentheses, automatically precedence functions are working. A plus B was done first, then minus function. So these are known as the order of the operations. So you have to do parentheses first, then exponential, then multiplication, division. Whenever is both is equal parentheses, so whatever you have to do, you have to go for the parentheses, and accordingly you have to execute. Operators are greater than, less than, equal to, greater than, equal to, just like in others language, whatever you are using. And operator, or operator, everything we are using. Now you just see, Matlab is cast as x is equal to 4. So I write down x is equal to 4. Capital X is equal to 7. X is equal to 7. Now x minus x, small x minus capital X. It will give you the result. What are the variable types? Numerical, logical, character and strings, cell, and structure, function handling. These are the variable types. This is the one important type. Don't name your variable as same as the functions whatever available inside the Matlab. Just like a mean function. Suppose you have to write down an array, you write down mean array. Just like nowadays people are very, very familiar with the Python. So in Python also we have to write down mean function, we have to send the array, give you the result. Similarly, Matlab also do the same type of thing. You have to store an array, you have to calculate the cost value of that array. You have to find out the square root value of each vector of the array. Then you can easily calculate. Mean, median, merge, everything you can easily calculate. No need of write down the code for that. Functions are ready. You have to just remember the function, what are the things is available. Learning part is required only. You have to know what is inside the Matlab. So if you're using such type of thing, then funny things are happening on your code. So you have to fill in your results, maybe require something, you got some result. Matlab reverse word do not work properly and when show a message that illegal use of reserve word as it was not well recognized by the Matlab. I'll give you one example. The correct syntax is else if in the same line you have to write them the same column line you have to mention it. Then end also you have to write down. Every statement, if you write down while loop, if you write down for loop, if you write down with that, every loop end with a statement end. Now you just see, if it was missed little bit with the help of one space, system will not recognize you and system will gather there is an error. Generally, students are facing problems. Many to everything I write down right, then where is the error? So you have to just go and check this type of code. Matlab is adapted at handling array. It is only basic on the array, whether it's array is numerical, character, logical, cell, structure, function. Single, double, integer 8, integer 16, 32-bit, unit 8, this type of thing you have to. Now, come to the array, how you have to create an array. I am write down a code, z is equal to 0s to 4. Automatically on the screen, the value 4, 0 in each row. 2 is represent for the row number, 4 is the number of columns. So 4 zeros are come. If you write down z is equal to 0s, 100 plus 100, 100 plus 100 matrix come in front of you. So initialization is done by the help of the one line statement. Now the same code, if you want to write down with the help of C language, so what you have to write down, for I is equal to 1 to 100, for j is equal to 1 to 100, aij is equal to 0, and you have to execute it. So 3-line code replaced by 1-line code. You want to fill up 1 in each column. You want to initialize your matrix by the help of 1 or with the help of 6 or with the help of 5. So writing statement is very simple. F is an array you want to create it, and you have to write down f is equal to 1, 3, 3. So 1, 1, 1. So your array initialized with 1. Now I am write down here 5 into 1, 3, 3. So the result in front of you, 3 cross 3, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5 in this manner. So creating of a 1-dimensional array, 2-dimensional array, 3-dimensional array, it is very easy. I'll show you how you have to create it. But creating this function, here we have to see that we have to apply zeros, ones. There is a function is known as the I, which if you write down f is equal to EYE f within bracket 5 cross 5. A 5 cross 5 matrix has created where the diagonals are filled up with the help of I. That is 1, 1, 1, 1. Now, we are using some functions. We have to create an array with the help of rand function. Randomly, it was created a function which was uniformly distributed the number with the help of floating point. Then whatever you have to convert, for converting it to value integer, whatever we have to do, we have to go for a fixed function. If I fix it, that means it, the random function created the value between 0 and 1. So it is point value it was created. Here I am write down rand 44. So its values are coming 0.290669, 0.025788. Now I want to convert it to the integer. So I have applied one more logic. So I am using the one other function, fixed function. Fixed function, what is the round the element towards 0. What happened whenever you have to multiply each value with 10? So you got the value 2083. Just you see, first line 0.2, so answer is equal to 2. 0.0, answer is equal to 0. 0.8, answer is equal to 8. 0.3, answer is equal to 3. In this manner, it will get. To avoid these two lines, again we have to Matlab is provide a function that is known as the rand I. Now if I write down rand I 10, 1, 10, that means maximum value whatever you have to find out that between 0 to 10. That is the first value, mention it here. Then row number, then column number. So a single row is created where you have to write down the 10. Then I write down a statement n is equal to 10 into rand 10 I 10. So all the value whatever generated here, it was multiplied with this value. So remember one thing, here I mentioned 494 for easy understanding, but whenever you have to execute the 10 into rand I 10, 1, 10, time to time it was created a new value. So after you store the value, it was ready and you have to store the value. If you write down rand I 10, 1, 10, it created one value. You have not write down n is equal to rand I. Once I write down n is equal to rand I, 10, 1, 10, automatically these values as a 1-dimensional array store inside this location. Uniform distribution, this is maintaining. Then the rand n, it is normal distribution. Remember, whenever we have to extract any data, it basically based on the distribution methodology. So Poisson distribution, statistic में आप लोगों ने पढ़े होंगे, Poisson distribution, normal distribution, uniform distribution, parity distribution, such type of distributions. So our data is based on any one type of distribution or mixed distribution type of thing. So we have to calculate how it was available. So we want to check it. Research is this type of thing. Now we have to go to a 3x3 matrix. You just see 3x3 matrix means your copy consists of 10 pages or 100 pages. Each page consists of a row and a column. Now take the first page, row and column, that is two-dimensional matrix. Now if I say that the copy every page you want to fill up, so whatever in the first page, second page, third page, in this manner. Now the writing style we have to learn that how we have to develop a three-dimensional matrix. So rand 500 means your maximum data was generated between 0 to 500, 3 cross 2, that means 3 row, 2 column, and 3 is the number of pages in general concept. So pehla page, second page, third page. So in this manner it is very easy to. Now you want to design it, you want to calculate it, so how you have to do it? You have to add value, you have to add all the metrics, that is easy. Some functions is available, you have to do it. Right? Now, one dimensional array can also you can create it with the help of this. For example, FOO is a function you have to write down. Name of the array 3, 4, 5, 6. So your function is ready-madely created. Right? A few way or other way you can easily for practice session you can create it. Now another array also you have to create it. 3 semicolon 4 semicolon 5 semicolon, that means column wise you want to enter, row is 1 2 row is 4, your column is equal to 1. Now you have to write down 3 4 5 6. Just you see just by side there is a mark of the symbol comma is available on the which mention that it is a row matrix. We want to convert it to the column matrix, so it is known as the transpose of the matrix. In general, if you write down the code in C matrix, C program, then whatever you have to write down for I is equal to 0 to 10, J is equal to 0 to 10, Aij is equal to, Bij is equal to Aji. So we have to write down the code. Here only you have to write down this much thing. Matrix, name, and code. Over. You can also append vectors in the row, line space, log space. These are the things also you can create it. Right? Two-dimensional matrix you just see. 3, 4, 5, semicolon. That means one row over. In this manner also you can write down the matrix. But for a large matrix, it is not possible. For doing small work, you can do it. But for the large 10,000 cross 10,000 matrix you have to create. It is not possible by a human being to create such type of large, huge amount of data set. Because generally what happens, now whenever we have to do the research or project work, we want to execute huge amount of data. And data may not be available. But if I know how the data are coming or how the data we have to generate it, we can first generate the data and we have to test it. These are the things how you have to access the data. Foo is a vector where I write down 1 column 5. Give the first 5 row or column of the element. In this manner also you want to extract the data. I want to access the value only 2 cross 2. This value I want to access 2. So I have to write down F1 column 2. That means first row, second value I want to access. These are the techniques you have to do it. Need is here maximum practice of the Matlab. Unless until you may forget what are the functions are available. Every day needs some practice. The researchers every day they want to execute their program so they can easily do it. Now you just see. Foo dot star bar. You can write down only star also it is possible. So matrix multiplication over. Now you see if I am using C language, what is the total number of code for matrix multiplication? For reading, write down for 3-line code. For I is equal to 1 to 10, j is equal to 1 to 10, scanf function. If you write down printf scanf, then it's a 4 line. Similarly, printing purpose, we have to write down 4 line statement. Execution for metric multiplication, 3 for loop, 3 line, and 1 execution statement, Cij is equal to Cij into Bik into Kj. So this much of line of code is required if I'm using the traditional programming language. So why not we go for a research type of work or a project where I know that matrix multiplication done in this manner. So why we want to waste our time for developing such type of code? The functions are available, we just use it. So number of matrix operation, transpose operation, you just see column, we just write down 1, 2, 3, 4 column. You can write down column are created, you can do it, write down. Then if you write down the sum of array, suppose I write down find the one value inside the array. So I am using the find function, sum function, number of elements in the array, length array. Maximum value, I am using the max function. Minimum value, I am using the minimum function. These functions are ready-madely available, only give the name of the array. Array is created 1000 into 1000 line. That means row 1000, column 1000, and you want to search a value. So you write down the find array. You want to sum of all the array. So using sum function. Right? How many number? Non is none means is not an integer type of data are available, is empty, is infinite variable available. So you can check it by easily by using these functions. Due to the less time, I want a little bit move faster so that I can reach to the plotting scheme. Well, now come to the plot. So after debugging, whatever you have to do, we have to write down the code. Just like in C language, we have to write down .c file. Here we have to write down with the help of .m file. Right? Matlab, whatever you have to code in the editor, you have to write down, and whenever you have to save it, suppose my name is Satya, I have to write down an editor on a file where I have to execute some data. Then I have to store it .m file. So these are the plotting type of representation is available. Line plotting, field plots, bar chart, pie chart, parametric plot, polar plot, contour plot, density plot, surf, right? The different style of plottings are available. We have to just go one by one and see how it looks when your data, whenever you have to represent it, how what is the look. This is a very simple. The function is equal to fx, and you have to write down x square, and you want to plot. So by each plot, you have to just print it in this manner. You can write down it. At the last, I have to show you how I have write down a code for that, so that the data will show you how the graph will be plotted. So it is an easy type of plot, EZ plotting. You have to fx, that means suppose your x value, you have to write down x is equal to 1 colon 100. So 1 to 100 value array created. Then you have to write down y is equal to x into x. So for each one, you have to find out the value x square. Plot command, whatever you have done, x value is equal to 0, colon 0.1, colon 5. That means the increment was done in this manner 0, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4 in this manner up to 5. Y equal to fraction of minus x. Then you want to plot. So how your plot looks like in this manner, your plot looks like. You just see the graph, the quality of the graph, you just see, which is very good in other language type of thing. Matlab graph is excellent. Then if I want to here just see, if you want to make the line little bit thickness, then also you can easily thickness your file. Property, value, these are the things also you can with the help of it. Suppose I want to make it a solid line, by default solid line come. Suppose you want to dash, so you have to put a dash mark on the programming. Dotted, so dotted, dash are formed. Similarly, color also you have to mention red, green, blue, cyan, magenta, yellow, black, white. Any type of color you have to mention. Specifier, plus, 0, star, this type. That means in a graph you want to mention some value. So whatever we have to put with the help of plus symbol, minus symbol, 0 symbol, such type of thing. Just see here. X is equal to 0 to 5. Y is equal to 2 to the power x. Now plot xy hyphen OR. That means you have to using the red color and the lining mark and the circle point. You have to find out the value. Now say, well, you have to write down the line width, marker size, marker edge color. So how it looks like, you just see the graphs is very excellent. So presentation is very good. One thing always remember for all researcher and projects, when they have to start to present, whatever you have to develop, but if your presentation is excellent, then that means 50% work you have to minimize with this. Because I have done this, that means students have learned or research scholars have done some work. How you have to give the labeling? So you have to go for a X level, Y level. So we have to mention it X level, Y level, title, right? See, there is just X level times second. So X level times second is available. Y level distance meter, it is available. Title is given here. So title, legend, what are the line? This line is represent for distance. Suppose in a single graph, multiple numbers of graph you want to present it. Then how you have to do it? System is very simple. First you draw first line, then hold, then use on the same graph you want to draw the second line. On the same graph you want to draw the third line. So how you have to do it? Right, this one is equal axis command. How you have to change the axis? So you have to grid, you have to run. Without grid, the picture. With grid also you see the picture. So for that, whatever you have to say that, before you have to plot, but after you plotting, you have to just grid on. The syntax you have to write down grid on. So automatically grid is on. If you want to read the value -2 to 5, so you have to write down -2 to 0, 5. So you have to mention in this manner. -2 to 2. So here it is mentioned in x-axis. First 2 is represent for x. Second 2 is represent for y. Then plotter graph different type. Use plot command. This is simple plotting concept. You have to using it more than one line. You have to just see x line space, y just y is equal. It is a derivative function. And first I write down one equation. First derivative. So I am using the dy function. Second derivative, you have to using the third derivative. So how it looks like. You also using the legend. So legend you write down y, first derivative, second derivative. In this manner, the three colors are come. So anybody can know that what is the meaning of each line. Writing equation is very easy. Just you see y is equal to 3 into x cube. 3 star x to the power 3 minus 226 into x plus 10. The equations you can easily write. Using hold on and hold up. You have to draw 3 lines. First line you plot, hold on. Then second line, then third line. After that, your complete graph is over. So whatever you have to do, you have to write down hold off. That means the process is first you draw one graph, then you go for the second, then you go for the third. In this manner, you have to do it. If you want to for sub graph also, so subplotting is available. You want to show it sine, exponents, cos, x square, everything you want to draw in different plot. So you have to on the same data. So you have to draw it in this manner. Others type of graph, vertical bar plots also available. The function is bar function. You just see year wise I want to generate the data 1988 to 1994. I have to create a data set 88, 89, 90, 91, 90. Then SLE another variable cell. What is value in 1988? What are the cells are created? I just plot the graph. So for statistic purpose or management people, they can using this function for their representation. They think that in Excel it is possible, but if you compare Excel graph picture and Matlab graph picture, you have to find out the difference. It's a gorgeous type of pictures you have to come out. Whenever you have to print, it looks very beautiful. Horizontal bar. So bar H. So it was horizontally come. Same type of thing you have to add. Stairs, case. So how you have to, either growth is going on or not. Stairs you have to using type of presentation skill. Graph. Steam. You just see line wise it tells that this one is the maximum point where you have to achieve. Pie chart. So you are using the pie function. Histogram, you are using the function name is equal to histo. 3D plot, you have to using mesh, surf, contour graph, you have to do that. I'll just show you how the 3D plotting scheme it looks like. You just see what is the excellent type of mesh gridding picture, whatever. The thing is, in 3D picture, you have to create a 3D array so that each point, how it the value is, suppose you have to access this value, so it must be available in a 3D graph. This one is another the surf. You just see the graph looks like a king sits on the chair, whatever you have to design. It's purely based on that. So remember, for a researcher or for a project, whatever you have to do, we people think that the functions are no. Mathematics is most important part of the thing. If your knowledge on mathematics is available, that is matrix is ready, then you can easily develop it. Thing is, we have a working on an area, we first identify a problem, then we want to find out a solution which is feasible. That is known as the deterministic solution first you have to find out. Then whatever we have to find out, a mathematical equation model we have to find out. Then once the model is designed, then we have to try to find out the mathematical approach or theoretical approach, how we have to solve it. Then we have to design the algorithm, then we have to find out the solution. For easy process method, then sometimes we are using the heuristic type of concept, so that the mathematical model, directly we have to go to the algorithm on the basis of some heuristic we have to develop. So it is a very excellent type of tools we are using, or whatever I said, that for me, Matlab is the best type of tool. I'm not saying that others are bad, but from my point of view, I want to try to create some interest of the researchers and people so that they are working to calculate it. There are other functions, if you see in this picture, curve fitting, optimization, MuPad, PD tuner, these are the functions are also available, here is available. Matlab coder, the most important part of the Matlab is if you want to convert from Matlab to C language a code, the coder functions are available. You write down in Matlab, then convert into the C language, code is ready. No need of writing that code. And for practicing, online freely available, this is the site through which you can go and you can develop, you can write down the code. I also want to develop one graph code here so that you can easily do. Little bit you wait. Suppose I have to write down an X array. So I write down X is equal to 1, colon, 100. So you just see X array is created. Now I want to write down Y is equal to sine of X. So sine value is available in Y. Now I want to write a plot a graph. P-L-O-T, plot X axis, comma, Y axis, and we have to print. This is one line over. Now I want to put the cost matrix, cost value of the X on the same graph. So I have to write down, hold on. Hold on. That means this graph is, I have to, keeping on the graph, then I have to calculate Z value is equal to cos of X. Then I have to write down plot X, comma, Z. You just see. You can write down theta, write down cos, cot, 10. You can easily draw it. No problem. Similarly, matrix addition, multiplication also you can easily draw. I write down a matrix multiplication in 3 lines. X, let us take A1. Remember, whenever you declare the variable, 1A you can declare. First character must be array. It's a character. A1 is equal to rand I. You have to write down 10 is my maximum number. I want to create 10 cross 10 array. 10, comma 10 array. Created. If you put semicolon, the results are not visible to you. Then similarly, I write down the B array also. A2. Now I want to write down C is equal to A1 plus A2. Array addition over. Similarly, multiplication. You just see how easy it is. Now I've said that 100 plus 100 matrix you have to multiply. Time is required, you just see. So 10 cross 10 array, you just multiply. It takes a lot of time in pen and paper. Now, if you write down a C programming, you have to write down a 20-line code. Here, the coding style is equal to only 3 lines.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry for disturbance. Your screen is not shared, actually.
Here, it was shown that my screen is shared, sir.
Sir, the screen which is now on shared mode, you just unshare it and share your screen, Matlab screen.
Okay, 1 minute, ma'am. Ma'am, the waiting room. See, waiting room. Upstairs. Suppose first I have to cut and again I want to share. Right. Is it visible? Is it visible, ma'am?
Yes, yes, now it is visible. Thank you, sir.
So again, I have to explain this. So how easy it is very easy. Suppose I want to create another matrix, right? Suppose A1 is equal to rand I 10 value I have to write down and 100 cross 100 matrix. Let's see, 100 cross 100 and row 100 column 100 just created. Over, right? Similarly, A 2 matrix I have to create it also 100 plus 100. I am working through cloud, so it takes little bit time. But if you are using the Matlab code, Matlab environment, it's a little bit very faster. Then I have to write down C is equal to A1 plus A2. Similarly, if I write down multiplication, you just see how easy. Nothing to do anything. Ma'am, have you seen the graph part?
No, sir.
Okay, let's see. I have to draw one graph with the help of hold. Let us I write down x is equal to 1 colon 100. So 100 or x value is ready. For each x value, you have to calculate the y value. So how you have to write down y is equal to sine of x. So it calculates for each x to plot plot x comma y. Sorry, connection lost. Little bit, please wait. Plot x comma y. You just see. So whatever you have to do, first already we have to develop one thing, x value, then y. So you have just using the hold function. First line you have to draw, then you write down hold on. That means I want to keep my previous graph. On that same graph, I want to draw the next one. So then you have to find out the z value with the help of cos function. Then we have to calculate. So for the Matlab, the most important thing is if you have a Matlab available with you, please install. You can execute it. Otherwise, if you have a Unix machine, it is available. So you have to install and you have to execute it. Right? Otherwise, you go to the Octava online and you can practice it. The most important thing is here, you have to practice as much as possible. Because we are human, we are not possible, everybody can remember all the functions. So there is a functions is available, there is a help function available in Octava, or if you are using the Matlab, you are using the manual function. You want to find out max, MAN, write down MAN and max. It helps provide you the function details, how the function is executed. With an example, 2 or 3 examples, it provides the help. So you can easily use it. So we all are human beings. Research we are not saying that we have to remember all the functions. We are not God. We have to also learning. A teacher is a learner. He also try to learn and try to present. Every time we are learning and try to present it. So I hope Matlab will very helpful to you, and I hope you have enjoyed my session of Matlab. That is the basic requirement. I just try to create some interest regarding Matlab with the help of the student, on the brain of the student, on the heart of the student, as well as the researchers. If anybody have any questions, they can ask me.
Thank you, sir. Matlab is really a good data analysis tool and provides various numerical computation methods. And during the session, some questions are raised by participants, which I would like to share. And the first question is, can we do modulo 2 function with Matlab?
Yeah. In Matlab, we can able to do anything. But remember is, if the functions is not available, we can write down the code. But for that, we must be know how to execute the program. For example, suppose matrix function is not available. Transpose of matrix is not available. So we must know that the basic thing, how the transpose is. That means row value is equal to column value. That we must be know. If we don't know that technique and we are using Matlab, it has no meaning. Today, whatever I have to find out, because I'm also a teacher, I'm also teaching to the engineering student, they are very happy with the help of the Python programming. There, sir, we have developed a lot of things, we can do a lot of things. The basic thing is how it was executed. For example, sorting. I can write down a sorting function, array x is equal to sort function. So it's sorted. But whether they know how the sorting was done, what type of sorting algorithm is executed inside the system. So I request to all the students, they try to learn this thing. Nothing is impossible. Everything is possible. Nothing is impossible. Everything is possible in Matlab. But thing is, ma'am, we require to learn it and we have to do it. Because we are not God. So sometimes after leaving a code, lot of time period, we may forget it. Because remember, computer science programming language is a volatile thing. If you not practice, you forget. So don't worry. Again, go to the net. You have to available whatever you want to write down. You write down. So it provides you the number of types of things or thread is available. You go through it and find out, recall it, and use it.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. The second question is, does the language of Matlab for computation, visualization, and programming work well in supercomputers?
Yeah, supercomputer we are also using in Matlab in there also, because supercomputer means what? It's a combination of number of computer we want to execute some code, right? So there are processors are increased, but what is now we are using their parallelism. That means number of processors are available. We want to execute which job in which processor. That thing was decided by the user or the researchers. So your work is you have to send your data and program to that machine, execute there, and again come back to here.
Next question is, are the algorithm and coding same there for optimization?
Yeah. Optimization, the way you are using in other language here also. But thing is, your codes are available. Functions are available. You can easily do it.
Okay, sir.
10-line code converted to 3-line code, matrix multiplication. You don't think so? It is so easy. If I ask the engineer student, can you write down a code in a 3-line? They say that no. But if I saw that, sir, ये program तो इसी में ही करेंगे, दूसरा कोई language छुएंगे नहीं, touch ही नहीं करेंगे.
Okay, sir. We are having so many questions, but due to time limitations, I just want to request all the participants to inbox their query to in experts.
In my mail ID, ma'am, you just send, I'll reply.
Okay, sir. Definitely. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I hope you people have enjoyed my session. Basically,
yes,
I am belongs to the Odisha.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
staying
Yes,
at
sir.
Odisha also. So due to this corona pandemic, I have to come back from Kanpur to Odisha, and I've stayed here and I continue from here. So any problem, any type of thing, I'm ready to help you. If
Okay, sir,
anybody,
thank
any researchers wants to execute their job or execute their PhD work, if they want my help, I'm ready to help.
Ji, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. This session was very much useful and informative. And I hope same sessions from your side in future FTP. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much for selecting me as a speaker.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mahapatra sir.
Thank you, sir, very much.
I really appreciate your presentation, the way you have explained with a practical session. And it
No,
was
I have a
really
little bit less time, sir. If possible, then I can directly run on the, if any new sessions come. So I can do it with the help of practically, so that people are enjoy how the things will be done.
right, sir. After having your session, we could observe that someday we will have to have only your session for the entire day. Because
Thank you very much,
Matlab
sir.
is a tool which not only you can say every researcher is a must that should know the 10 bits of it.
Sir,
Because
this is particularly required, sir. Without
yes,
Matlab, nobody can do anything, sir, for research.
yeah, that's very true. So as we are already in a mode of everybody is like inclined towards the research areas. So I think this part which you have a hands-on in so best possible way, you are really blessed with this, I think, sir. So we need your support in this, and definitely we'll have one webinar in which if you will share your some free day, because you are very busy at PSIT Kanpur, I know that.
Yes, sir,
And a
yes,
lot of
sir.
being a senior person, you have a very huge load on your shoulders of that PSIT. So if someday you feel comfortable that you are free, so if a week or 10 days before you can give us one day, so we will have a complete webinar of Matlab session for 2 to 3 hours continuous, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Once I'm free,
Yeah.
I'll contact you, sir.
As per your timings, we will just give us 7 to 8 days time so that we can enroll the participants.
Sir, please
And,
leave me for at least 2 weeks. After that, I am little bit free. Then I'll go help you, sir.
whenever days you are busy, just give us 10 days time so that we can join us with the participants and give them the suitable date and time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Sir.
very happy to join you again in the session, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
From the management of JSS Academy of Technical Education, Noida, we really give you a warm, you can say, welcome once again for this, and give you a lot of thanks from our respected principals, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Have a good day, sir.
Have a nice. Thank you. Thank you. Jai Jagannath. Can I stop here, sir? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
You can leave if you are busy, as per your convenience, sir.
I welcome our next speaker, Dr. Mamta Daya ma'am, Head Research and Development Cell at Geosolution Gurgaon. She is currently working in Geosolutions Gurgaon as Head of the Research and Development. She has almost 17 years of experience, including research, academia, and industry. She has completed her doctorate in computer science and engineering from DCR UST, Murthal, India. She has done masters in technology in computer science engineering with gold medal and certification on remote sensing, GIS and GNSS from Indian Institute of Remote Sensing, Government of India. Her research interests include spatial database, pattern recognition in big databases, analysis, machine learning, etc. Dr. Mamta Daya is currently working on spatial data retrieval, a new way to search and analyze the output from the growing number of digital spatial data everywhere. Since the volume of image like Google Earth and location demanded are very high, she has completed various government and non-government funded projects. Dr. Mamta Daya ma'am, over to you. Over to you, ma'am.
Very good afternoon, ma'am. I think your speaker mode is not on. You have not connected with any audio system, ma'am. It is not showing any audio system for you. Kindly connect with the audio, ma'am. Gunjan ma'am, just we can ask the participants to wait for 2-3 minutes. Let her join with the audio system.
I request to all participants, please wait. Mamta Daya ma'am is just connecting with the audio systems.
Your audio is not connected, ma'am. Please select as a audio with computer, ma'am. Yeah, now it is connected. मैम का वो ऑडियो कनेक्टेड नहीं था ना, कर दिया. Ma'am, you can unmute yourself. We have made you as a co-host. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, sir. This is audible right now. Sir, from where I have to share my video? How are you, sir?
We have made you as a co-host, ma'am. At the bottom, you can see share screen.
No, sir. There is no any option. This is the real. Okay, share screen. Fine, sir. I got this. So I can start.
Yeah, you can start, ma'am. Participants are there.
Okay, fine, sir. Let me just find out.
A warm welcome once again.
Okay, fine. Thank you, sir.
Once again, my ma'am, I warm welcome to you. That time your audio system was not connected. So now over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Vikas sir, for inviting me for this session, we can call with the tag use tech. Ma'am, my voice is audible to you all?
Yeah, ma'am, it is audible.
Thank you. Okay, okay, sir. I'll proceed with my session.
Yeah, ma'am, please.
So good afternoon, everyone. Today, this is about what I have to speak about the geospatial technology. That is a topic quite very close to my heart, and I love to work with this technology. So first, we would like to ask you, I think everybody must have some information about some basic concept, what is geospatial technology, because in routine life, all of us are using some basic application like what we are called, this is a Google Earth. So Google Earth is a live example with the geospatial technology, fine? So geospatial technology is relating to the collection or process of data that is associated with the location, because that is a major, you can say the major difference between the ordinary data, or you can call the spatial data or the geospatial data. Location is the most important component here. If we talk in a broad sense, geospatial technology is the combination of multiple terminology. The first one you can call, this is the GIS. Another is called the GPS and DGPS and the remote sensing. So we will discuss all the terminology in the detail, but before that, we should have some basic information like what are the common terminologies and other stuff we are referring with this geospatial technology. Because all of us are having the different technical background. Maybe we don't all have a computer science background, or maybe the geospatial technology or the GIS specialist kind of the expertise. Yes.
Excuse me, ma'am. Your PPT is not visible actually. I think you have not shared.
Let me resume here. Is it okay, ma'am?
No, ma'am. It is not.
I have already shared.
Not visible, ma'am, but.
Let me just try it again.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it visible, ma'am?
Ma'am, try once again, because it is not now visible. Yes, now it is visible.
This is okay, ma'am?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I start from the beginning. There is not much, like I told, just basic definition, what we are referring as in a geospatial technology.
Yes.
Okay, so this is like a combination of the three, you can see the technique basically. We have to work integrated if we want to work with the geospatial technologies. One is GIS, another is the GPS, DGPS you can refer, and another is the between the ordinary technology, like in ordinary databases, or what we are dealing with the GIS or the spatial database, is the only location. That is most important. If we will explain the GIS, so GIS system is the, like you can have the capability for input, storage, manipulate, analysis, and definitely get the output with those information what we are feeding to our system. And this is a very common terminology. I think all of us are using in our routine life, like our mobile to have the location, and that is GPS. In the same way, that is the one component for the part of GIS. Now is the remote sensing. So remote sensing, our eyes are the basic example that treat as in a, you can say the remote sensing, what we are capturing our surrounding, and how that will be presented in our mind is basic example. In the same way, in the broad term, we are using the satellites or aircraft to capture the information about the Earth's surface. So digital ortho images, key product, or you can just get the like we want a map accuracy of the digital photo through the remote sensing. So our satellites are capturing those images and we are incorporating those things into our GIS system. So GPS and remote sensing are the source of input data for a GIS, and GIS provide for storing and manipulating on those GPS and remote sensing data. So these are like basic example. So here we are using accessing data to the GPS or via the public GPS unit, and in the remote sensing, the acquisition of the images and in GIS that enabling creation, organization, and presentation of the data in a spatially referenced as well as protection of maps and chart. So these are like few images from which like you easily identify how kind of the things we are getting with the help of these technology. So important technologies are important, like we need to understand why this topic is important for all of us and how we can utilize these stuff in our, you can say the research or maybe the further studies or maybe some relevance in our daily life. So as in a computer terminology, if I'll say, first we are generally talking about the spatial data or the databases. Basically, we are dealing these data on the points, line, and polygon. So these are one is the vector data, another is the rest data. So rest data, all of us knows like this is having the 0, 1 kind of the data, always pixel-based data that will be represented through our system. Real world data, that is actually what we are you can say dealing with routine realistic data in our surroundings. So how those realistic world data we are presenting in our system through our system, including the raster as well as the real. So this will be represented in form of the vector where position and directions are very important. So now how this is different, I already told you in the basic database and geospatial data sets, they are only different in terms of the location or on the position of those points. Now, or the that one represents these difference between the real world domain or the data that is computed the representation. So all the geographic phenomena as presenting through this is the real world. So how we are just producing and transfer data into the computer in the form of the information system through the computer representation, computer application computing, information visualization, we get the final result on the actual art. So there are some continuous features like if we want to analyze some weather status, what is the temperature analysis. So this is a continuous process. This is not a specific one feature. Similarly, there are some discrete land use. On the land there can be the contours, height, or some other kind of the feature, or a building, roads, whatsoever. So they are the discrete feature names. So how your system are going to represent those things in form of the object. So these are basic like the trend what we have to follow. This is a continuous data as well as the discrete data that are dealing with this all stuff. So these can have a discrete boundary. Either there can be the crisp boundary or a fuzzy boundary. Suppose I just want to identify some geographic like objects. There is a river. So river features of the water as what to have the corners of those rivers or the buildings. They are very crisp boundary. You can easily identify if we are taking the because if you put down the first or some like a consecutive buildings, some dense area. Another a very basic example that every one of us is using in the real life. Like if you want to book some Ola or Uber, what we are doing? If we want to move one another, we just put our source and destination to this Google, and it will give you the different multiple path from one source to the destination. So now how actually these kind of the system work on GIS application or using application. So I'm representing these two things, human and machine represent color and machines represent the blur. So another is the analysis provided by the Google or say the simple Google application. So what we are doing as a human, we are passing the GIS requirement. GIS questions are asked through the machine, different patterns and questions are available there. GIS process the model and provide you the solution will be answered to you. Similarly, in the another method, like if direct requirement is passed to the data organization, interactive analysis will be done. GIS do the process and destination of that information is given as an answer. Now, both these human analysis are done through a human being. I organizing so that is my B can be organization. So A, B will have two location. There are definitely the earth is in the spherical way, and we are using some spherical model to understand the earth and find out that location, our location, exact location. So those two locations finally connected with the multiple, you can say the lines or maybe the polygon with each other. What the human analysis A and B from our source to destination is divided. Now, okay, tentatively how much time we need to reach from our source. What regions, like identify places, we identify tentatively we also calculate tentatively this much with the time, because this is distance between our source and destination, and we need this much time to reach the destination. Now, machine will interpret. Obviously, we do have some digital system, GIS-based system. Now we will just calculate that data into our system, into the GIS system. That can be 2D or the 3D. 2D can be simple like screen representation, but most of the time we are having on our screen or on the mobile screen. And 3D can be like can be like some modeling. This nowadays we are using. So, and routers are generally referring that is a triangulation regular networks. Like that is one network you can multiple paths over there when you are going to destination. Now those spatial points in terms of the geometry as well as the attributes are system. So those points do have point ID or a location, and those lines, because I already told you in the spatial data we do have representation the point line and the polygon only. Your point can be individual one entity, it can be, you can say, a house or building. Your line can be the streamline channels in the form of like road structure, your river structure, your power line structures, or those kind of things. Similarly, your attribute we have to pass to what? Like is the time, how much time we, if we calculate the distance of those line from one point to the another, how much travel time we required. So these are the attributes value. So we also need some like extra auxiliary data in the terms of coordinate. What is the scales of the calculations we are using? So that will be the thing. In GIS, generally different type of the coordinate system. This is very important terminology because we have to project a 3D model of the Earth into 2D. So generally, if I talk about the World International Standard, we are using the UTM, Universal Market Model. That is also one coordinate system because every country do have their local coordinate system also, but whenever we are talking in terms of the Google's and others, they are using the UTM. So standard wise, we have to use the UTM. Otherwise, suppose if I have to precisely work only on the we do have own coordinate system that is called the average. That actually lab. So these are different. I'm showing you on this system. So we are representing that thing to the vector, like position, what is the for example, and that will be represented in form of the raster in our system. Definitely, we are going to just project all those things because Earth is not a plane area, that is a spherical in shape. So we have to project it to the plane paper or in the form of a map. So 3D model to the 2D. So finally, we will get the project map data structure using the TIN, because here we are referring some undulation. So this is another way to, I think, a popular concept, calculating the neighborhood, you can say the node, connecting node, like one place to the another. So here, this is the best example how we can refer and calculate the shortest distance if we consider all the data points on the map or in the digital form. So this is how we are going to represent these. So we have those IDs. We are referring the value of X and Y in a latitude and longitude. So whatever the position on the earth we do have of that object, we are referring in the table. Then line ID is also there. So one line can be the collection of the multiple points.
Hello. Hello. Excuse me, ma'am. You are already mute. Unmute yourself. Hello, ma'am. Unmute yourself, ma'am. And please share your PPT.
I don't know why. Again, this is visible. I don't know why it's happening itself. I'm not doing anything in this.
Your
Ma'am,
PPT is not.
there is a network issue, maybe at your end or something, because like once you break down with your link now, you have to unmute again, because when you log in again it comes with the mute part. So you can just unmute and can have to share it again.
This is happening. Okay, sir. Okay. This is happening again.
Yeah, maybe some network issues there.
Things
No problem.
yeah. Oh. Here some open get the our impact. Like and see the analogy. The first told already typically will destination of the G that carries words only. This is dual information system. This is the and say it's a the multi GI the same geography, but so the information about the places on the Earth's surface and knowledge about where, what is where and when. So time is very precious here. So geographic and geospatial are the synonyms to each other. So after like referring the same, there are the method like how we can take the GIS application. So real world to the analysis and it will go to the further to the upper level. So initially it is dealing with the collection and the data management, and finally it will goes to the strategic level where all those applications can be referred to the management. So from the real world data to the decision making, so these become a very GIS. So with the help of those applications, simply GIS simplify the whole word, because that more, you know, a picture speaks more than the word. So through the images, we can take more fine decision, because if location is, we can easily identify on the map, okay, this is the most crime prone area. Okay, this is the location of the ATM and this is the route I can easily go through and this is the optimum time. Like all those make the quick indecision, so more helpful application. So philosophy behind the GIS is simply every object present on the earth can be georeferenced, is the fundamental key of associating any databases to the GIS. So here can be the people, building, road networks can be integrated because this is a multi-layer software. So GIS is system designed to capture, store, manipulate, analysis, manage, and present spatial or geographical data. These applications are the tools that allow users to create interactive query. That queries can be user-created search or anything else. This is spatial information added at map, like we can do the changes according to our requirement. Like we can mark our house on the Google Earth or some other application. I can find out the information of one particular building that belongs to which department or maybe a personal house or whatsoever. So these results are these operations. So these more commonly GIS signs are referred with the geographical information science. So all the geographic concept, application, and the systems are. So these are the multi-layer. Like you can apply all those GIS application on the different layer. It can be the social factor, biodiversity, engineering, land use, environmental consideration, or anything else. Like what we can think that is available on the earth. So these information are very descriptive about, like if we do have the map, so there will be always a map behind any database what we do have. So this is a virtual representation of the real world and its infrastructure. It consists as built of the real world, natural, or it can be a man-made, which is queried to support ongoing operation, summarize to support strategic decision making and policy formulation. This is analyzed to support scientific inquiry. So there are again one diagram that show you like multiple layer what can be have on a one GIS application. A single GIS information can tell you about your location, your infrastructure, your road structure, your you can say the rail structure, transportation, hydrography, land use, whether it's a commercial use or for the private use, how many personal space are there or the private or public properties available. So all kind of the informations are available on those layer, the particular GIS we are talking about. So this is like different in terms of the simple DBMS, because ordinary DBMS have the simple information, like you do have the city code, zip code, etc., but you don't have any geographic coordinates in that way. So there is a automatic mapping, primarily two-dimensional display device. But nowadays you do have the thematic mapping, unable to relate different geographical layer on it. So this is the automatic cartography you can do. In fact, like for the location mapping, sometimes we don't able to identify that particular map belongs to which area. So if we do have the picture or a small map of that area, we can compare it. It is available on the internet, and after mapping it properly, we can identify this particular image belongs to which location. It will map it on the actual available information on the GIS data. So you can use a facility like the next analysis tools. So it will again help in the decision making. So there will be the was a problem with the CAD and CAM, because they only give you the static 3D cube analysis only. But here we do have a spherical analysis, not in the cube. It will give you the actual shape of that data with reference to the Earth model. Scientific visualization system sophisticated with the multi-dimensional graphic, but lack of database ports and the two-dimensional spatial data analysis tool. It will be better if we refine our tool and we will do more research in the area, because collection of the data, interpretation of the results are very important. Only then we can visualize the thing in a better and way. So this is important. Why this is very much important and in the trend. So whatever we are having, suppose if we talk our country, so 80% of the local government are basically all the decision, the things are based, government decision, they are working with the geographical based things that can be states, zoning, civil, collection, land ownership, water supply, electricity supply. So all those things are basically the geographical based. So whatever the department, whoever those peoples who are referring those things, these kind of the data are very, very, very helpful to those officials, or to get the government for the official decision making. A significant portion of the state government has the geographical component like the natural resource management, highway and transportation. Similarly, in the businesses, use GIS for very wide array of applications, retail site selection, customer analysis, or you can say the logistic, vehicle tracking and routing, natural resource exploration, precise agriculture, like we can easily identify the pattern of the electricity as nowadays, like there is a drought or maybe the heavy rain or a flood. So through the satellite images, you can capture and do actually how much losses occur in that particular region. So no fake information can be identified to the individual. That will the actual structure, the showing the loss or maybe the problem occur in that area. Similarly, the architecture or in the civil engineering, in the construction, there are lots of applications, and military is the core area. Because if I talk about the history of the geospatial technologies before coming to the public or for a common person or our user, the military and defense was the core, you can say the area where the military and defense are using the concept of the geospatial technologies for the security position, because only they are referring those tools, their location and the position. Again, battlefield management they can do, satellite imaging interpretation they can do, they can easily identify some terrorist group in the another side if we do have a precise quality of the satellite images. So we can use all those stuff for the scientific research, employ the GIS, geography, geology, botany, anthropology, sociology, economics, all those kind of the criminology can easily identify. So there are n number of the application. So those are the general application, and these are the applied application, like how you can use those application for the urban planning and the management of the policy. So you can identify the zoning, division planning, land acquisition. Sometimes like government has picked the decision, okay, we want to pass a highway through these fields or through this pattern, where they want to propose a new road implementation or extension of the existing road. So how they can do? They simply analyze like either the space is available, what can be the best and optimum route from which they can plan the things. Economic development, they can say simply they can calculate the distance. Okay, this is the width of the road, this is the length of the road, what will be the total costing. So all those kind of the planning can be done at the city at once. Similarly, the emergency responses, like from your position, you can identify, okay, how many, if your vehicles are the GPS enabled, there are the ambulances available, or which one is close to you and how you can just reach to them. Similarly, the tax assessment, sometimes property tax assessment, people are telling like, okay, I do have a very small house, this is not the area of my house, kind of the stuff. Through the GIS mapping, one can easily identify a household mapping, and the things can be calculated, and it will be very helpful and the transparent tool that can be used. So similarly with the environmental sciences, monitoring the environmental risk, we can do all the temporal analysis. Temporal in this just way, this time series data, like today, if this is the temperature in you can see the June, what was in the last year, what was to last year. So in this manner, they can analyze in the temporal analysis. It can be the hazard, toxic facility string, you can see the pollution level, or some other analysis can be done. Similarly with political science, analysis of the election result, predictive of the modeling, or any crime is happening during the polling. Similarly with the civil engineering and the utility, locating underground facilities, designing alignment of the freeway and transit, either that is feasible or not, coordination of the infrastructure and the maintenance, everything is visible. So business demographic analysis can be done, market penetration, share analysis, site selection for the education, that is the attendance area maintenance, enrollment projection, school bus routing, or maybe the availability of the school in the particular zone, or maybe the opening of the government school as per the based in the region. So there can be the we can extend the application as per to our rule. So real estate, neighborhood, land prices, traffic impact analysis, determination of the highest and the best use. Similarly with the health, service inventory, need analysis, etc. are so every field. If we just close our eyes and think what are the use of, so everywhere we can use this technology nowadays. So we can just manage, analyze, and communicate accordingly. So it will work on the integration platform, and finally on the basis of queries, you will get answered through the GIS system. Special queries: how many elderly in Gurgaon live further than 10 minutes to rush hour from the ambulance service, or what if scenarios for the transportation planning during the disaster, or resource management, or some other utility design. So we can integrated way, we can just make a system and it will give you the result in the query. So we need to put together all the technology to get a GIS. So you can say the GIS is a superset for the GPS as well as the remote sensing technology. So because we can only integrate all those stuff when we do have all the other things together. So generation of the information and analysis of the information at the you can say the GIS platform. So here we also have the digital data, maps and plan, paper files. We will collect the data through the primary or the secondary sources. You can see the interview and other field survey can be there. Remote sensing is also integrated photogrammatically, like how the images are captured through the drones or maybe the aeroplanes or like that. So all those systems, everything is the data and put together into a GIS system. So, and morally, like computer science, you can see the backbone, or all the system are developing, we are filtering the information, what we mine through those GIS, integrating the technology over there. So it will become an integrated technique where multidisciplinary people can work together and good application as per their you can see the requirement. So computer science, MIS, graphic visualizations are there. Security is also concerned with those data. System administration is also dealing with that data. Database is also there. Visualization of data, like all those people who are more interested in that field can be the aligned towards the interest in these technologies. Similarly, the geographical and related cartography, geodesy, photogrammatically, land use, spatial statistics, or the public people who are working with the planning, geology, mineral exploration, forestry, site selection, marketing, civil, criminal, surveying. So all those things will give the knowledge base for the data. So this is a simple application, like in a broad term, there is a map and you will get a tabular information for that area. Similarly, that area can directly, like how we will get on as in a server. So it will be the non-spatial tabular data is integrated with your applications. Like this is a map info picture I'm showing you here. So basic information are stored as in a backend in the Oracle MS Access or in MS Excel. So map info is the one basically software we are using in it. So all things can be integrated together and you will get the outcome accordingly. Now, the most important is here, answer can be given in a form of the location. Suppose you point out any one things on like the maps or your GIS application, it will give you the precise information. Okay, this is one house, this apartment belongs to whom? What is the total area of that flat? What is the build-up type? How many, maybe the surrounding information can be given about the society. So everything will be as an information is attached there. Another thing is trends. What has changed since? This is very important, like what kind of the thing we can answer through the GIS software. Another is the pattern. What like pattern is there? What spatial pattern exists here? Before 10 years, there are some, natural ponds or the lakes are available, but nowadays everything is vanished. So what is the, like why this is happening? How much, from how much time this is going on? So all those things can be analyzed through this software or this technology. Modeling can be done. Like before implementation of the things, we can do the modeling of decision making and implementing, or what kind of result we are getting. Either you are building one road structure or a river structure or some other planning, so that can be easily visualized through the models. So all the spatial related question that deals with the location as well as the other thing can be answered through the GIS software. So these are like some example. There is one example. In fact, this is the image of a Noida. So there are some street layers over the polygons, and like there is a raster image given. That is an auto photograph taken. So these auto photo combines the visual properties of a photograph with the positional accuracy of the map, and that is in the computer readable form. So here in this image, we are using the UTM-84 projection system, means mapping of into the plane, you can see the map. Simply the 3D to the 2D mapping. The resolution here is the 0.5 meter. Accuracy is 1 point, because accuracy resolution is simply based on your spectral or maybe the radiometric system, how the image is captured. So scale already given, this is in the PIT. So now we overlay the based on the common geographical location, everything, road structure, small road structures, buildings, or this is the common area. So now the analysis can be done like in this area, this particular red mark state for which particular object. Object is scale. There, the text ID is also, if we link it with the text ID. So different parcel within the half-mile buffer, all the park and central visualize, and you will get the information. So whatever you are going to select as an information or the project. And we also overlay all those GIS with the actual images nowadays through the modeling. So it will becomes a very realistic image, and the planning become very easy and informative. So we can do the mapping, everything through the just prime location we want to find out, all the road structure you want to check, like all the multiple layer, Google, like everything you will get as an application. So mapping on the world today, how I can combine the data with each of these source to answer my question. So it's completely based on our requirement, what kind of the application we want to develop. Either this is a land information system, this is a village information system, or this is some like planning for the municipal corporation of any city or a particular area. So like we have to do in that mapping. And the most important nowadays, 3D algorithm and visualization is also very functional. Like everything is so realistic, you can visualize the thing. So we don't need to go priority. You can personally, we can just evaluate all the undulating field where like all the 3D height, let and longs are important parameter. We can just visualize a 3-dimensional. So those kind of things will also like integrated with the GIS, and we'll get the all kind of the data. Now another like how we just work with the GPS. So I think everyone is very comfortable with the global positioning system, but actually how it works. So there is like GPS nowadays is quite outdated, because accuracy is very less in the GPS, less in the terms of we will get the accuracy of the 1 meter to maybe the 2-3 meters. But DZPS is the differential global positioning system, through which we will get 0.1 centimeter or maybe the mm kind of the accuracy that will give such an accurate system. Even more technology will come in that way. Technology, GPS is a satellite-based geolocating system that function worldwide, and it accessible to the public via GPS unit. All of us are using the mobile, and we all the mobile smartphone are the GPS enabled. So whenever we are owning our location, our GPS activate and connecting with the satellite, that tells our servers where we are, our location basically. So this is the signal broadcast, triangulation based, and finally will get end user. So generally there are multiple global navigation satellite system. I have mentioned very few of them. They are quite famous, like the Navstar of the USA, GLONASS of the Russia, Galileo of the Europe, Beodo of the China. Additionally, we do have our Indian system also, that is the Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System, or the navigation with the Indian constellation India. So that actually tell us like where is our location. But globally we are using the Navstar. Navstar GPS give you the more precise, because this is a set of 24 operation satellite, and these 24 operation satellites are placed in such a way, in a circular way, at the altitude of 20,200 kilometers from the sea level, inclined at the 55 degree on the earth, and they complete one round of the earth in the 12 hours. The satellites are arranged in such a way that a minimum of 4 satellites are visible to the user worldwide above the 15-degree cutoff of the angle. Why this is the 5 satellites are required? Because every time there are moving position, that this is the accuracy, because we have to match inclined with position overlapping with the 4 satellite, that we will get the actually, because Earth is also moving and satellite also moving. Once is in the position of that particular object, within a second, another satellite will come in that location and just take the reading of our GPS. So all the different satellite may have the minor errors and give the variation in our position. So if we maintaining the 4 satellite minimum as per the rule of the UTM, we are taking the mean value and our system will give this is the actual position and we'll get the better result. So basically this is the traditional GPS unit. It will have antenna, receiver or the operation point. And if we talk about the DZPS, it do have the 2 GPS antenna. One is in the station mode and another is the rover. If we want the best observation of the GPS or the DZPS, so we have to install our machine for the 24 hours so that it will be aligned on the satellite and give us the more precise value for our requirement what we are doing, because the GPS position is very important. Because if we are missing it in the 1 meter or the 2 meter, so obviously you lose your target. So it was like one live example what happened with the US Pentagon attack. The location was little, they actually add the error to your this Google Earth positioning system. So it was attacked on the corner of that Pentagon house but not on the center. So there was some error, but if this is actually the latent long of position of that object, so anybody can misuse it and or maybe the used for the different purposes. So GPS do have basically 3 segments. One is the space segment. Within the space segment, satellites orbiting the Earth. Another is the control segment. So control and monitoring stations monitored by the US Department of Defense positioning. So this is basically about the net star. But if we'll talk about our Indian system, so our NRSA is monitoring those stuff like Bhuvan is operating on our satellite. But Bhuvan, many of the people are even don't know what is the Bhuvan. Bhuvan is just replica of a Google Earth. Ever in your life you try for the Bhuvan, Bhuvan will give the same kind of the analysis what we are getting through the Google Earth. But Bhuvan is less functional because we are getting more functionality with the Google. So we generally go with the Google, not with the our system. Otherwise, we can replicate the Google with the Bhuvan. So those are the control. So those, they do have the satellites, they are monitoring and they are controlling their segment. Another is the user segment. We all are the user segment where we are simply taking the GPS signal received on by our self as to be the another people who are using it. It can be the military or some civil uses. So these 3 segments are the space segment, user segment, and the control segment. So this yellow device is showing the GPS handheld devices. So these consist of generally once system GPS all Navstar have the 1 master control station, 5 monitor station, and 4 ground antennas to maintain and synchronize the accuracy of our location and the position. So 1 master control, what they are doing, they simply track all the global positioning system for the space vehicles. So what are the space vehicles here? That are the satellites. Similarly, they second the control, 5 control station, monitor station updates their orbiting position, where they are, what is the actual position on the Earth. So like what are the location, how many satellites are available, all those information will be getting through the monitor station. And what the basically foreground antennas are doing, they calibrates and synchronizes all the clocks so that we will get the more precise location and others. This is like simple a diagram how satellite roaming on the Earth and how we will get the information so that we can cover the whole Earth in one patch. So this is simply the user segment of the GPS and the DZPS. Now come with the another terminology of the remote sensing. So remote sensing, in the beginning, I already told you the best basic example of the remote sensing. So remote sensing is the acquisition of information about an object or phenomena without making physical contact with the object and in contrast of on-site observation, especially the Earth, often by satellite or other platform are accessed. It can be any aircraft, it can be manned or unmanned. Unmanned like the drones, vehicles, cameras, synthetic. Sensor has again wide range. Range of the electromagnetic radiation, active radiation like the radar, lidar. So information stored will transmit electronically, and everything will be fully geo-referenced through the GPS technology and integrated with remote sensing and GIS. So simple, like we can say the remote sensing is a science or art of obtaining useful information about an object, area, or phenomena through the analysis of data acquired by a device that is not in contact with the object, area, or phenomena under investigation. So like science, and just in incident the solar radiation on any object. This object can be a tree or a water body or a building or anything. So whatever that object visualized, like reflected from that object, this is the eye example. So whatever the image is formed on our retina, it will transfer to our brain. Similarly, what happened in the GIS, that sun rays will be reflected through these objects on the earth. It will go back to the satellite, reflected EMR we are calling, and finally those readings will be done through the satellite and transmitted to the control monitor center. Again, electromagnetic spectrum play a very important role if we talk about the remote sensing, because human beings can only work on the visible range, and finally reflected IR or the thermal band. So if we want to analyze the heat and other stuff, we have to use the thermal band, and accordingly we will the quality of the remote sensing images. So either they are based on the black and white image, or maybe the RGB kind of the image, or that is a thermal based like images. Accordingly we have to get the those images, and we need to interpret and integrate it with the GPS and the you can see the GIS system. So all these visibles are start from the 0.4 to 0.7 micrometer of the range in the electromagnetic spectrum. 4 to 5 are the best suited for the blue color, 5 to 6 are for the green, and 6 to 7 are the red. So whenever we are getting any image like in the RGB colors, accordingly it will give you the most precise accordingly. Either this is the tree, so tree will be reflected in the green zone very beautifully. If this is a water, so you will get the micrometer 0.4, 0.5 to 5, the best result. So visible is a small portion of the electromagnetic spectrum, and humans are sensitive to it. So infrared, we already told you, this is 0.07 to 15 micrometer. So this includes near infrared, middle, and thermal band. So microwaves is the above it. So generally here for satellite posting are important in this. So here I had written on the principal application. This is very important. If I want to study the only forest region, so only I have to set this wavelength with the 0.45 to 0.52, and we will get the application. And you can easily just analyze what is the deciduous or the coniferous forest cover discrimination very easily. You can identify what is the just soil vegetation, different easily identify. This is the dense. What is the dense vegetation here? Either this is a proper plantation or some open area. The things can be, because green color is dominating with these areas. Second range, it is if you want to reflect the healthy vegetation or the rock soil discrimination. So all those band will help to understand like what is important for you and what kind of the wavelength we need to identify our area of interest. Either this is a soil geographical boundary, or this is a land water contrast, or a snow, or some moisture, or biomass kind of thing can be done. So this option is available when we are having the satellite images with us, and that can be done for the, you can see the image processing kind of thing, or some other area. So type of remote sensing are basically based on the two energy resources. One is the passive remote sensing and active remote sensing. So on the basis of the wavelength region, there are the visible or reflected infrared remote sensing, thermal, or the microwave. So passive remote sensing basically there is no like sun is treating as an active source of energy. So they are getting the best result when sunlight is over the earth. So detection of the reflected or emitted electromagnetic radiations from the natural resources. Now like remote sensing is the detection of reflected responses from the object that are irradiated from the artificially generated energy source, like what we are doing with radioactive radar and we are the light emitting. So like imaging. So both the technologies are the example of the active remote sensing. Platform, what we are using, the vehicles or the carrier for the remote sensors are called platform, like the satellites or the aircraft. And nowadays, like drone is in a very high in a practicing. Nowadays, if we want a very dense area and we want to study a very 0 point or 100% of the accuracy in that way, so drones are giving the best, taking the best images, and we can interpret those images for our different application. Basically, this is a general example. Different platforms are basically the location of the objects that are dealing with the remote sensing. So they can be the geometric satellites, they can be the another sport or the Landsat satellites, space shuttles can be there, high altitude jet planes can be there. So all those things, like even ground truth, where remote sensing, maybe we are taking some camera on height with the help of the crane or something like that. So if they are capturing the pictures of the ground, so all those becomes the platform. So platform is very important. It will completely directly proportional to the resolution of our images. And resolution, like what is the quality and how better the things we are getting here. Now the satellites, how we are capturing the image. So we set our all the satellite on the different geostationary orbits. Like the geospatial, if it will capture the center with respect to the equator. So these are called geostationary orbits. If this is taking on the south and the north pole in downwards toward the prime meridian. So this is called the sun synchronized orbit. Another is ascending and the descending passes. It will cover the sides of the earth. And swath is the total area or image capture in the one round through the one satellite. So it will depend, okay, this is one patch covered by this satellite, another will come and it will cover the another area, and correspondingly all the satellite, minimum 24 satellite will cover the 360-degree area of your complete earth. So new area with the passes will be studied by so all the passes will be like controlled in the whole pass. In 24 hours, the system will give the calculation, updation to the monitor, and will get the new image of it. So this is like how all the satellites work, and the overlap of the adjacent swath are there to cover the whole earth. So sensors are what they are using. Basically, they are used for the observation. Sophisticated lenses are used for filtering and coating, detector sensitive of a particular region, and there are the proportionate to the radiation intensity. So sensors do have their different functionality. They can be the thermal sensor, they can be some like wind sensors or other kind of the thing. They are integrated with this thing. Another is the resolution. I already told you. Resolution power, measuring the ability of the sensor to distinguish between the signals that are spatially near or the spectrally similar. So here resolution are based on four main factors: spectral, spatial, radiometric, and the temporal. Spatial basically are refer with the simply like what is the pixel size. So pixel size will depend on what is your platform. Either you are taking the image from the drone, you are taking the image from the earth vehicle, you are taking through the aeroplane, you are taking through the satellite or some other. So like distance is proportionally to the resolution or maybe the other camera features. So those are the spatial resolution. So it will completely depend on like what is our requirement. Now spectral resolution. Spectral, which spectrum we are using. I will analyze the thermal band. Either I'm using the visible band for the green color, red. So according to the study of this is the black and white traditionally we are using at the earlier time. So poor sensitive to the large portion electromagnetic spectrum contained in the small number of the white band. Greater, they do have the small band with the electromagnetic RGB in the distribution between the scene element, or even small variation of color. They are the two with the smaller, bigger do have maybe the dark color in that, and small do have the light color. Accordingly, we can really identify the thing. So temporal resolution is very important because it completely depends the capability of this. It varies from IRI, 1/8 like cover round of the Earth in 22 days, where Landsat 1 to 3 is taking one round into the 80 days. So to cover the whole Earth. So it is taking 4 hours a day. So these are the useful in the multi-dated analysis. So you can analyze like based on the monthly basis, maybe the annual basis, and information on those. So basically these are the radiometric simply based on the color. Either this is black and white, RGB or something like that. So these are the radiometric. So these are the reference which color combination we are using. So best color if you're using that you're getting more precise and the images coming to the environment. Like this is the radiometric. This is for the 2-bit. This is very blurred. This is for the 8-bit. For better images, if I'm taking 60-bit, the 20-bit, they are getting the more precise and the better result. So basically resolution is what? By increase one or these resolution, increase chance of obtaining remotely sensed data about a target that contain accurate information. The downside of increased resolution is for increased storage space, more powerful processing tools, and more highly trained individuals. This is what actually we are doing with the remote sensing. In the remote sensing, we have to take care when we do have the best remote sensing, we do have the best location, maybe the using through the GPS or through the GPS, when we are getting the best information. So our GPS or the GIS systems become more for department can use them. And in fact, like as an engineer, we can use these technology for our research and other further project working from the government and other. So this is all about the geospatial technology. So I'm happy to take the question about. So any question, please? We can take the questions, ma'am, or any doubt. I'm not getting your voice, Gunjan ma'am. Please unmute yourself.
Sorry. Thank you, ma'am. You spotted light
Yes,
on
ma'am.
a very interesting research topic. So during the session, some participants has raised some questions. So I would like to take some questions. So first question is how remote sensing and GIS are useful for land management?
This is a very interesting question, ma'am, because land information, land management is the, you can say, the most important area we can use the GIS application. Suppose we want to check the land use pattern. Now government has to take the decision, okay, where we have to plan new projects related to the road management or thing like that. And utilize, you do have satellite images. We can just take the images through the government if we have want a high resolution data, or you can directly get it from the Google also if you don't have a very commercial purpose of your job. So easily you can identify, okay, this is the area, what why this particular area used for what purpose, and where we can plan the new project in that way. And similarly land use in the terms of like vegetation. Nowadays every day there is a problem, okay, there is a flood, there is a heavy rain, there is a drought, there is a no crops are there, so government has to bear maybe sometime unnecessary burdens on them. So simple, this is simply you can take a capture the image of that particular time and you will get the 100% accuracy, okay, what the actual status through which the government can take the decision. And the images are so precisely, if land is marked in the land information system, you will get all the information, okay, this particular fields to which person, and either he is claiming true or not. So like there are n number of the land use, so everywhere, because this is related with the geography, so lands are the most prompt area where we can use GIS technologies.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. The second question is, can GIS will be helpful in prediction of pandemic disease?
Obviously, yes, in that way. In fact, we are using, government are launching so many applications, and geographically on the map, they are showing, okay, this is the density of the, poor patient, they are dealing with the COVID. Okay, this is the density in the area, Delhi zone. These are the core zone where the patients, or you can say the COVID infected peoples are very high and less, and accordingly we can take some decision for the planning. Okay, this is the core zone area, we need more sensitive decision, or maybe we have to put some restrictions over here, so accordingly we can take the decision. So anything that is geographically related, where locations are important, or any position is important. So these kind of the application in GIS is very important. In fact, all those application government are launching are the GIS based. Whatever they are like predicting on the graph or the map, that is the example of it.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. The last question is, where can anybody find free to use GIS data?
It depends what kind of the data you require. Like simply if I want the images data, there are a government portals, NRSA, National Remote Sensing Agencies of India, or IRS, Indian Institute of Remote Sensing, if this is dealing with the Indian data. So those are the sites you can get it from there, or directly you can, if this is concerned with the images, latest image, so Google is the most, interesting and the most famous site from where you can get all the information. And there are some government, information portals also. From there you can get the, you can see the spatial information, spatial as well as the non-location, secondary data related to those images. So there are like government portal from where we can get all information, and we can utilize those stuff for our personal use. And similarly, some international web portals are there. If anybody required, I'll share like all those lists and other stuff, those who are interested to work in the domain.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. And you have provided so much information in short span of time. I, on behalf of Department of Computer Application, extend my heartily thanks to all today's experts and our participants to attend this session. Thank you so much, ma'am. Over to you, HOD sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mamta, ma'am. It was really pleasure to have you here, and it was your, you can say, slides were so, like, it was proving the authenticity of it, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. I hope the audience really enjoyed it, because everywhere nowadays we are using this. Yeah, and they can extend their research interest in their respective domain, because this is time to work on the integrated platform where we kind of the computer science engineer work in the multiple domain. So it would be like
email IDs also in the chat box. I believe if somebody is working in that area, they may contact you for that, ma'am.
Surely, sir. I just passing my email ID to the chat box. If anybody is interested to communicate with me and want to work on this domain, so I love to help them.
Thirdly, ma'am, I would also like to thank my colleague, Dr. Shivani Dubey, who was your scholar, and she has just received the degree of it, and she probably proposed your name. So I am really thankful to her also, that we have got such a, you can say, such expertised person as a resource person today in our this international webinar, faculty development program, in which it was really, we were so enthusiastic, and 300 plus participants were deeply involved in it, and nobody left the room at all. Instead of like if some technical error or some, you can say, speed or streaming error was there, that is a second case, but otherwise I could not find anyone leaving the room at all during your session, ma'am. Thank you so much for your wonderful slides. And
thank you everyone, sir. Thank all the audience, the participants. Thank you very much.
Have a
thank
good
you, sir.
Academy of
You too, sir. Sir. Thank you so much.
On behalf of everyone in the management, man. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for everything, man. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Gunjan, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So we can announce it for the day off to the participants, Gunjan, ma'am, and then we can leave the meeting.
Yes, sir. Now I think we should end the session.
Yeah, we can end the session, as we had only 3 sessions today, and polling is also completed. And thereafter, we can say to the participants, as well as we will write it in the, you can say, groups, as well as in the Telegram, that link for feedback as well as quiz will be opened, you can say, within half an hour. and it will be open till 9 p.m. today. So if there is any issue regarding that network or something, so don't feel hassle for it. You can fill it till 9 p.m. today. And as per the yesterday's quiz and feedback is concerned, few of the comments I have received in my mails and groups that some of them have not filled up. So in that case, I request every participant that they continue to fill up the feedbacks and quizzes and polling for the remaining 4 days, 3 days, including today's. And at the end of when we'll be finishing our this IFDP, in the end, if we feel the you can say concern about your not filling of any of the you can say links in these 5 days, we will open that and we will see to it if it is required. Otherwise, there is no I think if there is no issue of it, then let it be like that and keep filling it from you can say today and remaining 3 days more. So if there is still, if you have any issue, you can definitely WhatsApp us. And thank you so much, all the participants, for giving your so much of valuable time to our IFDP. And the JSS Academy Technical Education Noida management is really thrilled to have you all with us, and hope that you will be with us in the same passion for the rest of the 3 remaining days. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much.